And hello everybody. Welcome into SplatoonTourney1. We're taking a little bit of a turn here. I am Fufu and I am joined here by the lovely Hammy. Come say hello.
Hey Fufu, how's it going? I'm glad to be here and I think we have a fun set here for us today.
Oh, absolutely. Here we have teams that we're quite familiar, well, at least on one side quite familiar, and it's also going to be, interesting because we're seeing Ink Drinkers versus Freedom here, and Ink Drinkers is basically getting double casted today, having not only this set to do, but basically a set that's going to decide playoffs after this.
Yes, and as you mentioned, Ink Drinkers is playing next after this as well, but this is a very important group of sets for Ink Drinkers here, as they can potentially make the playoffs for Div 7 here. And as we are going into our first match here with Splatzone's Mako, and we'll get a bit more into how Ink Drinkers are going to be playing later today as we're getting right into our set very quickly. But yeah, Fufu, is there anything you want to see coming into this match for Zone's Mako?
Honestly, not anything in particular here. I'm honestly pretty much on a clean slate here. I like to see what the teams are going to bring in here on the first hit, because even though sometimes we might know an idea of what these two teams might bring out, sometimes, they'll come out completely differently. Like last time I casted, one of the teams on the set had a midline comp, and then the next game they switched to a short shooter comp. It's like, quite anything can happen. Actually, I'm a liar. You know what I kind of want to see? I want to see buckets or blasters. It's Mart of all things.
Yes, give me those buckets. As anyone who doesn't know, I mostly play buckets and also reflux. But yes, the buckets, very strong weapons here in Mart. The ledges are very important. The stacks are very good places to control. And there's just a lot of verticality for what you'd expect from a grocery store.
Yeah, just we're gonna be going shopping here. Honestly, also I'm a big fan of Mart in general. It is very much, I've talked about it before, and I will quite literally say it again, that this is quite a staple map in terms of conk gameplay. There is not a single map list or out there, or map pool, excuse me, that doesn't have it. But we're gonna be seeing how these two teams are gonna be facing here in the shopping area. What are y'all bringing out tonight?
Let's see, on the side of the Ink Drinkers, we do have 3 shooters and a Hydra coming in. And on the side of Freedom, we have 2 swords, a pencil, and a splash. Both sides having the types of weapons they like to play. And we'll see how these teams like to open up here and see which team gets there first.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, we have a mainly short shooter comp here from Ink Drinkers, and Freedom having like 2 mid-rangers. Well, they have a lot of range, swords, not a lot of range. So it's going to be interesting how these two teams are going to be duking it out here. Already specials coming out on the field, seeing those ink strikes from Freedom, trying to cap that zone, successfully doing so right off the bat. But with their members going down here, it's going to be Ink Drinkers to grab that zone once more, just as fast here as the Pencil is fending for themselves against Zuka's coming out. Unfortunately, Freezy not being able to find anything with it, but Ink Drinkers still being in control of the zone despite the efforts of Freedom coming in for the back. Where is bro going?
We see a big flank from Bonnie Bell on the side of Freedom, able to take down one of the hammer. And get is that going to be a team wipe from Ink Drinkers? Yes, Freedom does wipe all of Ink Drinkers, taking a very aggressive position here as Bonnie is inside of the base of Ink Drinkers, able to get another pick. They just aren't able to respond to this wiper here in their spawn, and they're going to have to make something work if they want to get back to the zone here.
Yeah, this is where the range that Freedom has in their comp becomes incredibly helpful right here. Just being able to catch these ledges. Look at this decap. Just being able to take picks off of these ledges against a short shooter comp on lockout is going to be really hard to get back in. But it might not last long here with Freedom basically going 2 down. This is Ink Drinkers' opportunity to try and go in, but they're still stuck in their base getting, or not.
Yeah, Commentators curse there. We do see the sword go down to the side of Freedom. Ink Drinkers, though, does also lose a member. It's 3-3 right here. We do have a member jumping in. Freedom wants to hold the zone here and not get that penalty. They're going to try to paint it out as they do, but multiple specials come in from Ink Drinkers. Not enough, though they do now cap as there's only 1 member left of Freedom goes down, and now that is a delayed wipe. Ink Drinkers are able to take the zone here, and they're able to start getting a good position. They have a long push ahead of them. They want to get more points here.
Oh, absolutely. Already seeing a picks come out on the board right here. Freedom being able to get that 11. And, oh, that Pencil coming in with a nice pick on top of that. Ink Drinkers out of penalty points. They're going to be trying to, hold as best as they can under the attack from Freedom. But Freedom coming in with 1 pick already and a recap of the zone, just continuously picking people off on Ink Drinkers here. They are throwing hands.
You can see Ink Drinkers responding to what the Wiper on Freedom did earlier as they're able to take them down before they can get any value out of that flank. The backliner here, Bulk Kill from the side of Ink Drinkers, goes forward and does get taken down by the hammer during the Booyah. Bonnie came back with a vengeance after getting picked off there with another hammer ready. Does throw into their base, gets another pick on the jump, and this is a great position for Freedom here, as Bonnie is once again walking into the spawn of Ink Drinkers and not letting them get a good footing.
Yeah, I love the utilization of range with these Wipers. They just kind of, they right there already seen these picks on the board. And Judo, before I even get into anything, we are just about to hit a knockout moment here for Freedom. Blink and you miss it. That is a knockout for Freedom.
It's very convincing gameplay from Freedom here. Very aggressive stances. You'd think that the Ink Drinkers with 3 shooters in their comp would be commanding the map, but Freedom looks very comfortable in the weapons they're playing, and they keep doing the same thing over and over again. It seems to be working very well for them, as they do indeed KO that game with about 2 minutes left in the match.
Yeah, I think the main part was just you have a mid-range comp here against a almost entirely short shooter range comp here. Once you're in that lockup position, they can just simply sit a little bit further back and continue to, pick at members of Ink Drinkers here. Like, the main thing they have to worry about is that Hydra, but if they could just double team them, suddenly the range needed to contest them is gone. And I think they took complete advantage of that, which is what led to the knockout.
Yeah, you can see here in these replays, Freedom did not let Ink Drinkers have their space. They got up in their face and they wanted to claim the area as their own. With, again, that pencil in the back line was able to give them that support and that pressure to be able to get up in that position. And their comp just worked out very well in their favor.
Oh, absolutely. Pencil is a menace to society, and we're going to be seeing what's going to be changing here in their next map mode, going into crab leg clamps. I love me some crab leg clamps. We have a lot of options here, especially with the grades providing as a second story, a little option. You want to go up here, go ahead, have fun, do your own thing. It's like, of course, we have the layout that we've been seeing all throughout Splatoon 3. It's very much a longer map mode, but we have options. Yippee!
I'm very excited to see this because Hydra and Pencil are 2 very strong backline weapons on this map, and they both play it somewhat differently. So I'm interested to see, the battle of the backlines here and see how these teams can also utilize their backlines and those 3 other members can fight. It's going to be a fun game here to see who is able to kind of play that position and get the upper footing here.
No, absolutely. And you're mentioning backlines here, the difference between the Hydra and the Pencil. It's very interesting though, because you have a Pencil that goes to the very like that is the team play of team plays backlines, in my opinion here. Constant pain, you couldn't have people you feel like it were a Hydra, while it doesn't have that pain support. It's it's there for that killing power. But we are going to be seeing these differences pop up again, and we're going to see if we're going to get any comp changes here, especially here from Ink Drinkers. If they're going to get, match with midline. Not much. We are seeing that Gal still coming out here, and we are still seeing that double sword comp. We're not seeing any changes from the side of Freedom. Don't fix it if it ain't broke.
Yes, the only addition we see here is that Ink Drinkers still the triple shooter comp. They bring out different shooters this time. They're very comfortable in their genre of weapon. See, one already going down on Freedom. The splash goes down, and Ink Drinkers taking a very strong position here. They're all pushed up fairly forward, including this Hydra splatling all the way on top of mid, getting in a good spot.
Yeah, indeed. Freedom is already forced on the back end right here, with most of the turf being in Ink Drinkers' favors here. We see Cooler coming out, so we might be seeing some risk come into play, but it's not going to last very long. 2 people going down on Freedom already, leaving this Pencil to just fend for themselves, but we're not... they actually do have climb economy, but we're waiting for a power climb to be formed to get Ink Drinkers into the basket, and although they're in the spawn, we're not seeing a score yet.
Full health on this Hydra in a very scary position if you're on the side of Freedom, as it's very hard to get this Hydra out. Commentators curse as the Wiper does take down the Hydra splatling. It takes out 2 the jump on the grates. Bonnie is just sweeping through the Ink Drinkers on those grates there as they push them out. They got a very small push as they only got 2 extra claims after the break, and Freedom did a very good job at holding out Ink Drinkers and not giving them that great of a footing, as they're still just trying to take back this mid area, and there's a bit of a neutral point here in the mid.
Yeah, we are also seeing these specials come out to try and force a bigger advantage here, but unfortunately, the hammer going down. Crazy being able to find an excellent pick right there. There is some more people coming in center, but that is technically 2 down on Freedom here. We are going to see Ink Drinkers advancing forward here, trying to find more opportunities for themselves as they slowly build up clams here. They do still got to form that power clam soon if they want to be getting a push in. Hello? The trade on the left?
We love a good trade. It gives us absolutely no value sometimes, though sometimes it is actually beneficial to be getting those trades. See, the Hydra going down in Ink Drinkers, the Wiper going down in Freedom. There is a 3v3 here, though one team is their backline, one team doesn't. We'll see if that gives one team a footing here as Ink Drinkers pass around this power clam, though the Pencil on the side of Freedom does take a good position. He's able to paint up the map fairly quickly and give their teammates some room to move.
Yeah, right here. Paint is power here, as you know, we never really escaped the turf war fundamentals here, but Inkdrinkers is looking to be coming in with a power clam. There we go. Freezy putting it in for the second time already. There's a power clam up there we just breezed by. Are we going to talk about that?
Yes, the other power clam does despawn on Inkdrinkers in a very weird spot on the side of the plat, as Freedom once again minimizes the impact of Inkdrinkers' push, as they only got down to 67 from, I believe, 76 last time. Not even 10 points extra on their scoreboard. But that being said, Freedom has yet to score, so Freedom really needs to generate an opportunity here to push if they want to get back in this game with only 2 minutes left.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like we're seeing more of like a defensive playstyle here for Freedom, or not. We're gonna we're seeing picks starting to come out. We are running circles. It's going to be 3 down on Inkdrinkers as a result of the fight in center, though. So it might be Freedom's opportunity to actually start pushing in. Seeing Jay take a pick already, and we are seeing the power clams move into the center. We are seeing an extra pick trying to make it 3 here from Jay, trying to find that last one. Are they going to be able to find it? Not quite here, but we still have 10 points left to match that lead, and the lead is passed here. Freedom taking the lead, already slowly tricking these points down.
Yeah, Freedom using the abilities of the decav perfectly, getting the bubble down to give jumps to their teammates, getting almost a triple kill, as you said, but unable to get that third pick. They do get the lead, not by much, but sometimes that's all it takes. As I believe the Inkdrinkers, if they score, doing some mental math here, no, they will not take a lead if they break. They still need one more clam after that break, so they can't just cheese it and get that power clam in the overtime. So Inkdrinkers are going to need to generate an opportunity here and get the ability to push if they want to take a lead.
No, absolutely here. We're just seeing people going down left and right here. But, you know, this center is starting to be painted in teal here. You know, it's very interesting because we're seeing, like, a lot of, like, stalls in mid here until one team really starts getting their push in. Well, I mean, that's the part. Clamps is kind of silly. It's either you have stalls in mid or you're seeing constant back and forth. And I think we're just kind of in this more, like, neutral stage here. Ooh! That hurt, actually.
Yeah, Inkdrinkers here having a lot of struggles with this double sword comp as they just constantly get taken down by one hit. Jay getting in the spawn of Inkdrinkers and putting out a bubble as well, and the hammer coming out from Bonnie. It's just these two swords just love getting in the face of Inkdrinkers, and they still aren't able to come up with a great response to it consistently.
Yeah, and again, it's just that range. If you're taking down, if you're fighting with 2 swords as a short range shooter, you're in for a world of pain here. And we're definitely seeing Freedom take complete advantage of that. As that score is down to the last 19 points right here, they might just be able to knock it out. They continue to get clams in their favor here. We are seeing Pastry come in with just a few more. 7 points remaining on that clock and 10 seconds left. It could just be a knockout if they feel silly enough right here. And I think it might just be, nope, 2 clams off. Inkdrinkers might still have an opportunity to take this back with one final push here if they're able to collect not only economy, but their numbers and pressure all together.
Inkdrinkers do indeed have an opportunity here in overtime, but it is a tall order as only the Hydra Splatling is alive at Inkdrinkers, and there's very little time left. They have to make some miracle happen here as no, the 2 members go down inside of Inkdrinkers, make that 3, and that is time as Freedom takes game 2 in this set, going up 2-0 over Inkdrinkers.
What a great game here. Yeah, Freedom, once they were able to get, you know, their foot, you know, get themselves set up in the base of Inkdrinkers, they were basically smooth sailing because that was one huge final push there that basically lasted for quite a while, I would say there. Basically sealed the game. I was about to say, are they all matching?
Almost. The decav didn't have the same emote. They ruined the pose. But yes, as you mentioned, Freedom with a very strong push there. And earlier in this match, we saw Inkdrinkers get multiple pushes, but they were all very, very small pushes. Whereas Freedom showing that when they get in, they will not be leaving. They had 2 pushes as well that game, and both of them were very, very large pushes. Not able to get the KO, but able to get such a grand amount of points that Inkdrinkers just weren't able to respond in time.
Yeah, right there, you know, putting that pressure up on the top. Again, I think it's that range. I think I hard stand by the range of the swords and the pencil on top of that, because you have the swords like a chip and the pencil that can just finish things off, or vice versa. They're playing their chip all they can. Either that or they're taking hits as they feel like it. But that said, with Freedom taking already a second game as we move on to Ship-Shaped Tower.
Ship-Shaped Tower is a very interesting one because there's a lot of those side grates that go over the water. It makes some very interesting flank crowds. Now, this is a map where I think that Zuka's kind of reign supreme, and they're very strong. So even though we've seen Freedom with those wipers, or it's not the wipers, but the swords, who are able to command space, but also fight you close range, maybe the Ink Drinkers with their shooters here can have a very strong comp with a couple of Zukas here.
That could be it. Azuka could do a lot of things here, especially with, you know, again, we're seeing like, well, I don't want to say hallway map because I mean, like Haggle's right there. That's a hallway. Shift tape is kind of there, but we have a couple more options. But it really, I think the main contest is just going to be which team is going to be getting to the snowball point first. I think it's second checkpoint or like at least halfway between that and. You know, this map can get really snowballing. So I think it really is whoever, you know, pushes forward first is going to be getting this.
Yes, as you mentioned, controlling that court is a very, very interesting point to contest here. And again, Freedom does have a pencil. Pencil is a very strong weapon here because it can control that bridge on the side very well, both on defense and offense if they're on the tower. And we're going to have to see, you know, which team kind of has that better holdout and which team can kind of snowball through the others. We do get into the match here. We're going to see if we see any major weapon changes, but so far we haven't seen very many as Ink Drinkers do again bring the triple shooter comp with the Hydra, and Freedom does bring, a bucket and a squeezer and they've completely changed their comp up minus the pencil.
I kind of like this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big fan of the squeezer and the bucket. It looks like they're still able to work off chip, which doesn't change too much in the fundamentals, I would say right here. But already Ink Drinkers going one down on one of their aggros on top, but it's just already another aggro to call for it going down on Freedom. We are in this neutral position where we're trying to see which team is going to be getting these first advantages. We are seeing players going down left and right. The tower has yet to be moved from by either team. There we go. Who tapped that for a second? It was Freedom.
Yeah, I do believe the pencil managed to get on the tower for just a second there. As now, two go down on the side of Ink Drinkers, and Freedom was able to take some space. Finally, one team was able to make a push as we have Freezy here trying to fight for their life, unable to get any picks and does go down. Freedom is looking to try to get this first checkpoint, though. Ink Drinkers able to use a little bit of what range they do have to try to keep them off the tower and try to keep the space here.
Yeah, we're using those strikes to try and wall out the right area here as we are seeing Jay here rotate and trying to put more pressure on this left side on Ink Drinkers. This tower is continuing to move. All the members of Ink Drinkers are up and they just got to get, well, actually 3 of them are up. We're seeing even numbers now on the field, but it looks like they're starting to be collapsed upon here. You are Freedom as members of Ink Drinkers are slowly piling on members of Freedom, taking 3 down.
Freezy just casually walking in and getting a quad to take space.
What?
Ink Drinker's now in a great position there as Freezy is continuing just to get ready to hold out here as all 4 members of Freedom are now walking forward. Freezy's walking at them. They have the confidence of a lion here as they're about to go in to see maybe potentially get more picks. And Ink Drinkers are trying to get this checkpoint, but Freedom does throw out the strikes and they're trying to hold them out and not let them get that check.
Yeah, interesting here. It's just the tower just being stopped here as all the turf here is starting to turn blue and strikes are coming out from Freedom. They're doing what they can to start moving Ink Drinkers back, and doing so it looks like they're just trying to get these picks here, finding one. Zuka's coming out, trying to find another, but it's going to be 1 down on each side. Nope, that's a second one here in the favor of Freedom as that tower has to be grabbed very soon if we want to, you know, if we want to get moving.
That kill we just saw there is why I love sloshers. The curved angle around the tower hit the player. That's what you love to see. Bonnie giving us a great show on both those wiper earlier and this bucket here. As you see, Freedom is still contesting this tower. They're pushing it forward, trying to keep it in the court of Ink Drinkers and not give them any space as we're now exactly halfway through our match. You see Freezy loves to play this left side, trying to do something for the Ink Drinkers here. But Pastry is able to, Freezy is able to take the pick, and Freezy is just, once again, just contesting a lot of space on this left side, and Jay does get the pick, and as you mentioned before, players are just going down left and right, and there's not much space to be gained here.
Oh, this is going to be a little too good right there. 3-3 for Jay right there. This is a huge advantage here for Freedom, getting that tower moving once more. A little bit of early strikes here, but with all the members of Freedom situated in front, unfortunately 1 going down, but that is also 2 down on Ink Drinkers. They are situated here to spawn camp members of Ink Drinkers. If they can continue to keep this pressure up, they're going to be smooth sailing in terms of the tower moving. And Bonneville is just kind of crazy with the slosher. I love to see it. Strikes coming out once more. Oh!
Jay is holding a very convincing position here, able to get 2 picks right there and just hold that top right side. There's now 1 player left in Ink Drinkers trying to stop the tower. It was 2 seconds, 1 second, and that is it for Freedom. Freedom taking the set 3-0 fairly convincingly, and this is a very interesting set because we didn't get to discuss this much when the stream started because we were starting pretty quickly, but Freedom is 0-4 in their group right now. The expected team to win here is Ink Drinkers, and Freedom is, they are guns a-blazing today. They're giving us a show.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like we are watching a completely different team play right here on Freedom. I mean, look at what they're doing here. Just being able to hold a... So, you see the tower going from 46 to basically a knockout. Well, it was a knockout here. It's the way they set themselves up here. I absolutely love. They set themselves basically 3 up front or 2 to continue to keep pressure, using their specials, you know, just catching Ink Drinkers off guard, constantly staggering them, just being able to swiftly move this tower forward. There's constantly someone or 2 down on Ink Drinkers, and that was just good coordination on their part.
And I believe we're also reaching a point where Ink Drinkers the nerves might be getting to them, because we haven't talked about it much, but Ink Drinkers, they have a potential to be reaching playoffs today. I believe if they lose this match, as long as they win their next set tonight, they will still make playoffs. But winning against Freedom here is very important, because this is about the momentum. They have to go into their next set right after this, and they want to be coming in off of a win. They want to be playing good. This is their warm-up. And you can see in that clip, Ink Drinkers, you know, they started walking around members, started pushing for the tower. They started jumping in when they shouldn't be jumping in. And I think maybe they're starting to get a bit nervous and playing a bit too fast. And Freedom's taking full advantage of that, and they're shutting them down before they can get a chance.
Absolutely. Freedom is definitely running on so much momentum here, and you know what? I think Ink Drinkers need a game to find a moment where they can reset, because if they can reset, they can lock back in. I think there's a chance they can still take at least one of these games back here. But yeah, Freedom is riding on these vibes as we move on to Hagglefish Market. Rainmaker. Oh goodness, we got ourselves some Rainmaker.
Yeah, and this is a very interesting Rainmaker map, because once you get that first checkpoint, if you take the mid-central checkpoint, you can jump straight across the enemy plat and you skip a lot of points very quick. So this is a map that we can see very, very fast points and potentially quick KOs if one team makes a slight slip up. So you have to make sure your defense is perfect.
Yeah, never leave that fish unattended, because that could be absolutely detrimental. So I want to see if there's going to be any changes here. Nope, we're still keeping that short range shooter comp here from Ink Drinkers, and we are seeing that double sword comp return and a gal coming out here from the side of Freedom. Interesting here, because we're swapping out for Kraken, which is going to be great on these tight choke points, especially, you know, allowing members of your team to go up that ramp a little swiftly. So
we can definitely see that Freedom wanted to have a bit more options here, so bring that gal with the Kraken is very great special for pushing the Rainmaker. You can kind of use yourself as a giant shield to protect your Rainmaker player, and especially on those checkpoints, sitting on top and just jumping can push back players on the Ink Drinkers if they're not careful.
Yeah, bro was feeling whimsical. Bonneville going in for the kills, trying to find a second one, not quite able to find it here as, ooh, trades are starting to come out, but this Rainmaker is in the hands of Freedom, is quickly putting this in the pedestal with the protection of a bubble. Pastry getting ballsy, trying to find that pick, unable to find it, unfortunately, here, as the Rainmaker is probably going to pop in Ink Drinker's favor here.
Unfortunately, for the side of Freedom, the startup lag did get the fracking down, as now Ink Drinkers throw a couple specials, get 2 down, and they take a very good position as everyone on Freedom has to run away. Ink Drinkers now down a member, but they're still holding a good spot in mid, and they just have to try to regroup and try to take a space here. Chikorita getting 1 on the left street. Only the pencil left on Freedom, actually. Ink Drinkers getting down 3, may be able to take less off checkpoint here, unless the Pence item 6 on the side of Freedom can get a good pick here.
Yeah, right there. And the checkpoint is now grabbed. Both teams having the checkpoints up and down here. This is going to be great here for Ink Drinkers if they can continue to have some pressure up. Unfortunately, one of their members going down here. And we are seeing a Hydra versus Decap. Decap coming in with the kill already. Freedom is quickly retaliating, trying to take members of Ink Drinkers out. But Zuko's coming out, finding a pick, trying to find the second one. That is technically 2 down on Freedom as well. So I would say we're probably going to be moving back into that neutral position very soon, especially with the Rainmaker meeting both teams there.
Both teams in a neutral position here, though a very scary game as both checkpoints are broken, so any team can take a huge lead at a moment's notice, so you can't let your guard down here. As DJ coming in, getting 1, getting 2 on the flank, getting 3 members of Ink Drinkers, getting the quad by themselves, walking through, causing a distraction, and just giving a great space for Freedom here. As they do grab the Rainmaker, they might make the jump across. They're still at 61 points. Jay getting another triple kill! Jay is walking through the Ink Drinkers right now. They don't have a response, as the Rainmaker did go down to Freedom, but they now repop, and they're going to try to get across this gap to get a huge lead over the Ink Drinkers.
I think the biggest tragedy here on Freedom is that the Rainmaker wasn't in their possession. And when we had that quad situation happen, Ink Drinkers being able to quickly respond right afterwards, having all their members basically grouped up. Unfortunately, Freedom losing their push, and still their score sitting at 49 there.
That is huge if you're a fan of the Ink Drinkers. 2 wipes, yet you still managed to keep it at 49. If the Ink Drinkers can jump across that gap, I believe that gives them the lead. So they managed to mitigate any damage done by Freedom, and that's a very impressive display of defense on a clutch.
Yeah, indeed. And here it's like, despite all odds, you know, it's like we're still holding our ground here, and we are seeing this Rainmaker trying to lob around the edge. Already one down. Oh, their anchor who went down. That's actually really huge for Ink Drinkers, taking off a lot of pressure on their shoulders here. Slowly trying to move forward, taking another pick here. If you are the Rainmaker, with the Kraken from Freedom trying to come in, trying to take that Rainmaker out, doing so successfully. But Freedom is also going to be going 2 down in the process. Doesn't matter. We're getting picks left and right.
As mentioned, Freedom wanted to have this Kraken as a safety precaution, and it did work. It did 2 kills there on their switch, keeping the lead inside of Freedom. Though Jay going in for another play does get taken down, as Freezy does get another potential pick here, and does indeed. Ink Drinkers now getting 2 Freedom members down, and they're retaking mid here. They want to try to get that push, though. The Rainmaker does reset, so they're going to have to generate another opportunity here.
Yeah, it's like, you know, the Rainmaker is still popping in their favor here. I feel like there's a lot of tense energy coming into this, especially because both teams are going to be wanting the lead here. Freedom for trying to get a 4th game on their score, and Ink Drinkers for trying to, you know, reset themselves here. And a minute left on the clock. The pressure is on.
Freezy gets a trade there, as now we're seeing 1 down on each side. Just stuck in a neutral position here with less than a minute left. So Freedom aren't in a comfortable lead, but a lead nonetheless. So they just might want to stall out some time and make it so Ink Drinkers can't really get in and get that lead.
Yeah, it's like, are you playing safe or are you playing risky for more points here? So it can really, it's exactly as you said, it could really go either way. Oh, the unfortunate Kraken cancel, that would have been deadly here. It looks like Ink Drinkers are going to be finding their opportunity very soon with a big wipe out here. That lead is going right in their favor here. Chikorita trying to move it even more forward. Jay coming in to stop the Rainmaker at 28. Now the tides have shifted here. Ink Drinkers in the lead.
Ink Drinkers getting a great opportunity, killing that Kraken in the startup lag, getting everyone down, and just getting that lead with only 10 seconds left in the match. Freedom are going to have to run a good overtime here. They're going to need to play it slow and get those picks, as they already get 1 down. The shooter goes down inside of Ink Drinkers, though it is a trade now. 3v3. If you're the Ink Drinkers, you want to stay alive as much as possible and just get picks 1 by 1. 2 down inside of Freedom. They do a Kraken coming in now, and may be able to get some picks and protect this Rainmaker and get them forward as they're running out of time.
Yeah, we have 3 minutes. That might be a dangerous Zuka here if they can hit that Rainmaker. Not quite finding it here, but it looks like Ink Drinkers is definitely holding ground. That on the right, the Rainmaker going down. Ending the game. We have a game here for Ink Drinkers.
Yeah, I think the Ink Drinkers heard we were talking about them, how they were the team that was expected to win this, because they stepped up the game here and finally taken a game on Freedom. It is now 1-3 for Ink Drinkers to Freedom, and yeah, like I said, we have a game here. There's no longer a possibility for a sweep, and you know, Ink Drinkers obviously want to win a match before this, but they still do have a little safety net of 1 more available loss before they get knocked out. But yeah, both teams very close in this set. There wasn't like a clear winner. There's a lot of trades happening, a lot of back and forth. Both teams got fairly solid pushes, and we see they're 28-49, but it was just because of that 1 last-minute push that they got Ink Drinkers to win there.
No, absolutely here, and honestly, it was pretty rough because I feel like both of these teams were, you know, we're struggling to find that middle ground. It was like we were waiting for a big push to happen, and you know, Ink Drinkers was the team to find it between the two, which was really impressive. If anything, it's just like, okay, despite all odds, we're still gonna throw hands. I feel like Rainmaker was a shaky mode for both of these teams here.
Yeah. And once again, we have to give props to the defense of Ink Drinkers. Again, getting wiped twice in your own spawn and still keeping it to 49 on Hagglefish is insane. I don't know how they were able to get those Rainmaker picks, because we weren't able to see it because Jay was popping off, and that's what we want to see. But yeah, Ink Drinkers, very clutch defense there, holding out Freedom despite all odds. And now we're going into splat zones on Barnacle. Another map where defense can be very important, because you don't want to get locked into your own base, because there's a lot of strong positions to take here between the glass and the perch. It can get messy if you get locked in.
Yeah, lockout on this map is brutal. We basically, I mean, looking at the map in front of us too, we have two lockout, brutal lockout maps in front of us here. So it is definitely which team is going to be, which team that is going to be finding that lockout position is going to be sitting nice and pretty, because that only marked for a lot of points to go in their favor here. And we are going back to zones here. So I am excited. I love me some zones. I feel like that pencil from Freedom is also going to be having a great time here, especially with the paint output that pencil provides. Particle.
Indeed. This I think Freedom does have the advantage here though with those two swords, as to take back you need to be able to get onto that snipe point, and with these two swords they've been shown time and time again they're able to get up there and fight the Hydra. So if you're Ink Drinkers, you really want to make sure to lock them out, as we do see very familiar comps coming in. Both these teams have run these comps today at some point, at least once, and we're going to see how they break in here, as you see the pencil already panning for Soda. All of Ink Drinkers just going straight forward to try to contest the zone. They do get there first, but Freedom is trying to push them out with these two swords and all that range.
Our biggest contester here is going to be which team is going to be getting these specials up on the board here. And I also want to note that that Wiper was actually swapped out for a Stamper. So that's going to be an interesting change here as we continue to move in here. But we are seeing the strikes coming out from Ink Drinkers, trying to make some sort of waves here. Finding one on the decap, finding three! Already, I think that Duka got a double pick. Huge here for Ink Drinkers. It seems like the momentum is returning here as, you know, they're moving in, trying to find a lockup position. Freedom coming in just as fast, trying to prevent them from getting too close to their spawn.
Chikorita getting jump scared by a stealth jump decav there, does manage to live, and yeah, Ink Drinkers holding a great position here. They're trying to keep Freedom from getting in because they want to stall as much time as possible and just not have to worry about playing this game longer than they need to. Two go down on both sides. We're now seeing both the backlines alive as Zip does come out from Freedom, and they're going to see if they can try to, you know, pressure them back to their zone and potentially get their teams in, as we do see Freedom taking a step forward. Does get one, though he goes down one. A lot of trades this match. Is now, again, 2v2. Neither team can get a numbers advantage, as both teams are trading out constantly.
Yep, indeed, and we are seeing Freedom have control of the zone again after a hefty push here from Ink Drinkers, bringing it down to 33. Jay already setting themselves a little bit forward here, trying to find a pick. They actually did find a pick earlier here in just a second, as Freedom is now in control of the zone once more. These penalty points are up and out of the way. If they can continue to hold this pressure, they're in for a good time. But the Zuka finding a pick, trying to find Jay while they're at it. Unfortunately, not able to get a second one, but it does leave room for going in here if you are Ink Drinkers.
Jay trying to play like a rat and get in there with the Ink Drinkers. Does manage to get one down, I believe, and now the Ink Drinkers are down two. They have a jump in, but Freedom very close to taking a lead. There are only 3 ticks left. They do take down one of the members of Ink Drinkers, and yes, Freedom does take a lead. Only 30 ticks remaining. This is a point where Ink Drinkers need to kind of start to panic a little bit and start to walk forward and just try to pressure as much space as they can if they want to get the zone with 15 ticks left.
Yeah, the pressure is definitely up here, but 2 of their members down. On top of that, only 8 ticks remaining here. This might just be a dominant knockout here from Freedom. Yup, and just like that, the game ends. Freedom taking game 5.
Yeah, we see Ink Drinkers had a very convincing position for a while, but Freedom did eventually find their way in with those 2 swords. Again, that Zip you mentioned, able to get in there and just... Even though that Zip didn't get any picks, it was just able to make all of Ink Drinkers walk backwards and take that one step too far, and it just let Freedom get in, and they never let go once they got there.
Yeah, it seems like Freedom, once they get their hands on a lockout situation, they're sitting nice and pretty. I love the way they utilize the range here to take full advantage here of their lockout positions here. And that's exactly what we saw here from Freedom. And, you know, once they grabbed it, they weren't letting go. It's like you give a dog a toy, they're not going to want to let go.
With a double sword comp, it's a very reckless and confident way you fight. And, you know, Ink Drinkers gonna have to call their bluff and be able to pick off the swords if they want to hold out these positions, because they've shown that they're up 4-1, so it shows that they are confident in how they're playing it and they're able to get those picks. So Ink Drinkers now in a do or die situation, the next time they lose, that will take the set. So they need to come up with a response. They need to do it now, as they need 4 wins to take this set.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle here for Ink Drinkers, especially, I said, if they want a chance to bring this back here from the depths, not from the depths, from the depths. What are we spewing tonight here? But we are going to be moving on to Umami Ruins Clams. Again, as I mentioned earlier before last game, is that it can be also a lockout heavy map here. It does get pretty brutal, especially because you can quite literally walk into the spawn of the enemy team.
Yes, and not only that, it can be a scary spot because it is just a huge lockout. And again, with these swords, there's we need a response or an adjustment from Inkjinkers if they want to, keep those teams out. And yeah, they just need something for those swords. And I don't know if they have any other extra picks up their sleeve or any new strategies, but something needs to change if they want to play more confidently here.
Yeah, because once Freedom gets the advantage, it's very tough here for Ink Drinkers, and I'm surprised they haven't either tried fire. I'm surprised they haven't tried fighting fire with fire, but they have definitely stuck to their guns and stuck to what they know best here, which is, it has worked for one game, so it's definitely still possible, but it is very tough.
Ink Drinkers confident in what they've been playing. They bring out the same comp. We see Freedom does bring out that Stamper again with the zip. They thought it worked well, and they want to bring it back here, as it does let them get in very quickly and get behind the enemy lines. Though this is a different mode, different map, so we'll see how it plays out for both teams.
Yep, and here we are in this neutral position. Once again, once these teams start fighting these specials, we're going to see them move along here. But that actually might just be not the case here, with Freedom already losing their decap right off the bat here. It's going to force Freedom on a bit of a back end here if Ink Drinkers finds an opportunity. But these strikes already coming in as a calling call to move Freedom forward here. It's just really waiting for any major picks. It's like, despite these strikes, despite these specials coming out, we are not seeing any major picks just yet here. As, oh, wait, we might be seeing it soon here, as we're going left and right. We're going back and forth. Okay.
The zip just flying through from Freedom, as we see Chikorita from Ink Drinkers trying to hold out top mid, a very important position on this map. Unable to hold it, and now two members of Freedom do take it, though a Booyah coming out from Ink Drinkers. Just back and forth. No one's really holding a convincing position, as both teams are struggling to really stand still, and just there's no coherent fights. A lot of 1v1s taking place, as we see one going down from Ink Drinkers, and it's a fight for top mid right now, and no team seems to be winning it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely waiting for that opportunity where whenever one of these teams gets an excellent push in, we're going to be seeing a lot of points scored on the board here. But it's exactly as you said, we are here for almost a minute and a half, and not a single team has been able to push past this neutral point here, despite all these power clans to show. It's like neither team has been able to make it under the other's basket. But that might just be changing here. If Freedom quickly trying to move in here, but two down on Ink Drinkers, people are still going down. The opportunity for the clam is right there. Go! No!
Unable to get it in. I don't know if that was hesitation or maybe somebody made a call out, but yes, Freedom unable to break there. Now Ink Drinkers, we see a triple kill from Freezy, potentially a quad because of the jump, and Jay's there as well. Freezy's behind them. They don't see him. They're able to pincer. They do get down the decap, and a great opportunity here for Ink Drinkers, as they're now the Zuka is getting even more picks. Freezy does not want to lose this match, and neither do the rest of the Ink Drinkers, as now there's two down from Freedom. Ink Drinkers potentially looking to break the basket here. They do need that Hydra to get in position to throw the power clan. They do jump in and break, though they all go down, as yes, that is a wipeout. Freedom now, very short map, so Freedom is able to potentially make a counter push immediately here, so Ink Drinkers have to get back fast.
Yep, Clams is definitely the mode of counter pushes here. That wall hold, great push right there from the start. It unfortunately didn't last very long. Freezer already making the way back and going in for two. What is Bro on? I need whatever Freezy is on, because Bro has been taking people left and right, already making the way under the basket. They just locked in. They just toggled. That's kind of impressive right here.
We see Freezy holding a very important position. As I said, that hill does go down to the double sword despite Bazooka, as now Freedom want to take back mid. They do have numbers advantage, but no position. That one of those strikes does get caught on the hill, and Jay does go down, got a little bit too greedy, but they got the bubble actually. And then we see a trade in the bubble. The Booyah does shred it. Very important Booyah to get rid of any position that Freedom can possibly take. And now Ink Drinkers still controlling the map and still have the lead.
Oh no, absolutely here. We are seeing Bulk up here placed in center this Hydra. I like the position of the backline, but it's also just, with members starting to come in for Freedom, you do not want to be that first contact when everyone is coming in. Already two down on Ink Drinkers, almost three right there. Yep, now that is a wipeout in the favor of Freedom, just like that. And a jump to the basket already going in. It looks like we're going to be seeing an excellent push here. Already a leading push here from Freedom. Trying to put that, are you going to put that last clam? Is the question.
They have to dodge a bomb there, unable to get the power claim into the basket. Is about to close. A very well-placed bomb from Ink Drinkers, minimizing that lead, but yeah, Ink Drinkers had two jumps, and they both went down to the top of the mid, and it just all went downhill from there. Freedom taking a very convincing spot, and now they have to get that pencil out from top mid. Ink Drinkers have just a minute now to regain that lead. Not a very big lead, but they still need to get a lead.
It's going to be incredibly hard, especially considering that almost all the members of Inktriggers are already out. Freedom is still holding strong. Under the base of Inktriggers, we are seeing Zuko's coming out, taking one off of them while they're at it, but scoring clams in. They're going to be trying to trickle things in, but it looks like Inktriggers might be able to, you know, move them out of their base here with only one left there.
A very important defense here for Inktriggers because they've minimized the impact. They now have 2 power clams on the field, and that is enough for a lead. If they are able to get one player in and jump both those power clams in, that will win them the game in overtime. So, good defense here from Inktriggers, though they still need to take back the map with 20 seconds left. They still need control as the Zuka does come out from Freezy. Gets 2 with 1 jump, gets the triple kill. That is what you need if you are Inktriggers. The last one is the sword. They're hiding, and they do jump out to regroup with their team, though. Inktriggers now, they need to get both of their power clams in. Someone needs to grab that pity clam, and they need to get them in now.
They gotta start moving. They gotta go. They gotta go. Oh, Jay already getting a pick him up. He got that. It's for Inktriggers.
They got the jumps. That is exactly what you needed. They must be listening to the stream because I told them what to do and they did it. You minimize the damage, you get the second power clam, and you jump them in last second before Freedom has the time to respond. But very, very clutch, very close, and no team had a very convincing placement. Obviously, Freedom did have the lead there and did command more space in the last half, but Inktriggers did control the map in the first half, and it was just kind of more of a back and forth, just very slowly. And yeah, I want to see the replay on that ending there because I saw a jump on the hill that was nowhere near the basket. So was that just another person jumping in? Because I'm surprised they got both those power clams in.
I think they were able to jump in and just move here. I do also want to quickly touch on that Zuka. I think the triple with the Zuka was just, and then the forced jump out was just the critical moment where Inktriggers was able to utilize this and just, you know, go for it and take the lead here. Yeah, both of them jumped in. I think they just barely managed to get that in.
I didn't think that was in range. That's impressive. Yeah, I saw that first jump that was in range. That second one, I was like, no, that's game for Freedom. That's the set. I didn't believe. But yeah, Inktriggers, they do manage to barely keep themselves in this game now. 2-4. They still have 3 more wins ahead of them. It's still a very tall task as Freedom has been playing very good today. And now we're going to Inkblot Tower, a very popular map and mode combination.
Oh my goodness, Inkblot Tower, again, a partial favor on the tower control mode here. This is the snowballs of snowballs here. It is a very common map mode that we see within the map pools all around. And, you know, this is definitely, if a team places themselves well, this can quickly be 100-0 if they go past. I think is it first the checkpoint on the ramp. These checkpoints always confuse me. I've played on these maps so many times. What's a checkpoint? Who needs it anyways? But there's always going to be a checkpoint here, second checkpoint here that decides that snowball factor. The teams can get through that and place themselves on a lockout position. That is almost a guaranteed knockout.
Yeah, you obviously don't want to lose that first checkpoint, but as you say, that second checkpoint, a huge choke point because it's right next to the enemy bats in the bunker, and it's just in a weird spot where you don't really have an escape route because behind you is a big sheet of plastic that you can't paint. Though this map, I want to see a lot of use of the verticality. Those stacks are very important to control. As we see, there's a pencil on one side, there's a Hydra. That Zuka from Freezy has been phenomenal, and we want to see more of that in that position. So both teams here bringing out, again, very familiar comps, though we do lose the decav on the side of Freedom. They opt for the T-Tech for those strikes in the tower. So we'll see if that GG special, as people call it, will give them a good footing here.
Oh yeah, we have Zukas on both sides. It's going to be very interesting to see here. It's just like, okay, we see the potential of Zuka. We're on our way. I'm surprised though because that decaf was absolutely throwing hands beforehand. So it's a very interesting switch here from Freedom as well. Both of these teams, we're already hearing strikes come out on the field, trying to move the players on each side as they want here. Freezy here in the spawn, getting picked off right here. Only after taking someone down with them here. It is ones on each side. Where are we going? Where are we going?
Back and forth picks over here on Freedom's plastic is now there's 2 down at Inktriggers. Freedom able to take a position, though they still don't have control of the mid yet. The Zipcaster going back and forth trying to swipe somebody as they drive through, but yes, both teams now, Freedom does take this position, and we're gonna see what they do with this push here.
Yep. We are trying to see which one of these teams is going to be able to get a first large push in, because those large pushes are going to be just about everything here. But unfortunately, Freedom going 3 down already off the bat, not even allowed to get past that 80 mark here. Already getting stopped. That is a really good defense here from Intriguers, but they do have to also get a push of their own. I feel like we're going to be in a lot of a stall here until one team reaches that ramp. You know, I think once one of these teams reach a ramp, it's gonna go nuclear from there.
As I mentioned before, both teams here with the strike, so it's very important here. Oh, actually, we see 3 go down on Freedom, as now this could be a potential first strike point for Drinkers. But as I was saying, both teams with very good specials at stopping, especially in an overtime. So you don't want to lose a lead here, because you don't want to be the one who has to try to push a tower through a strike. As Drinkers taking a very aggressive position, they go 2 down on the bunker. Freedom now loses 1, but they still striking this tower to try to protect this checkpoint, and the tower's just changing hands back and forth, and now we see Volkout getting a jump into the tower as the Zipcaster comes out, pushes him out, and I believe Freedom does manage to get this checkpoint saved and pushes Drinkers back.
I think what's impressive here is that Intriguers never fully, retreated or lost all of their pressure here. It's like, sure, they went 2 down here, unfortunately losing 2 right now as well, but, they still kept some sort of presence, at least in mid or upper mid here. But it looks like that might just be changing here with Freedom now starting to take control of mid here and slowly getting, we're seeing specials online from the splash, being able to find the pick on top of that. It looks like Freedom is going to start moving this tower relatively soon here. There it is. Oh, that hurt.
If you're a fan of the Drinkers here, you want the assurance of Freedom not getting that first checkpoint. So you really want to see potentially the double kill from Freezy. That's exactly what you want to see, as Drinkers do down themselves. Another pick from Freezy, just trying to. The 2 jumps. Jay does get the triple kill. That is very bad if you're an Ink Drinker, as there's 1 member left of the plat, but they do get the kill with the bomb. Again, just back and forth picks here. You see the strikes coming out from Ink Drinkers trying to play defensively. Only 1 of them goes to the tower, which will not hold up the checkpoint very well, as they do. No, they lose the towers. They don't take checkpoint yet.
Yep, not allowing them to take that checkpoint is huge there, because now they have to go through all of it later here. If you are Freedom, it looks like Intrigue is starting to get their momentum back, if anything right here, but already in mid, Freedom moving their way forward here. They are coolered up and ready to go. They are ready to throw some hands. Jay finding 1 with Zuka, trying to find a second one, not quite finding it, getting picked up here by Freezy. This checkpoint is trying to be covered here. Freezy just trying to move Freedom off the tower, finding a pick, trying to go directly for their pencil here. Bro is making waves, finding the second one, but going down in the process.
Freezy does get 2, but then Jay comes in with a pick of their own. Now walking behind the lines of Ink Drinkers, they do have 2 down, but 1 just respawned. And Freedom need this first checkpoint. There's only a minute left in the game. They seem like they're scrambling, and Ink Drinkers want the assurance of just being able to defend a separate checkpoint, as the Zuka comes in from Jay, trying to get some picks, though does get nothing. The wall does block it, and we're going to see if they can get a checkpoint here, or else it's going to be very ugly for Freedom.
Yeah, this is this multiple attempts on trying to get the checkpoint, and Intriguers is just preventing them from doing so. I don't think they got that checkpoint yet. Yeah, having to reset this checkpoint constantly here, just being unable to grab it under the pressure of Intriguers. Intriguers is doing everything they can to preserve the lead that they already have. They don't want to give any opportunities here to Freedom, even if it means going down. We've been seeing constant picks left and right. Like, this is going to be an incredibly high KD games from both of these teams.
Bonnabelle getting a pick here, then zipping up into the bunker with 3 Intriguers there. This could be catastrophic if they get a couple of picks. Though, if Freedom does get the checkpoint, they're now pushing towards a lead. Then you have to take the next checkpoint. This is to get to it, as 3 are down on Intriguers. That is a lead for Freedom now. And with 10 seconds left, Intriguers have a tall task. They need to get this tower, get an overtime, and get all the way through. As no, Freezy does go down. Is anyone close enough? But the zap on Intriguers does take the tower, starts at overtime, but no, they go down, and Freedom prevents that overtime from happening. They do take this set 5-2. That was a close game.
That was an incredibly close game, but maybe even too close to comfort here. Freedom towards the last minute being able to grab that tower and just absolutely snowball it, holding on despite the efforts of Intriguers, basically running circles around them for a good chunk of the game. Impressive stuff here from Freedom.
It was very interesting. Again, as we mentioned, they brought out another shooter and got rid of the decav, and it seems to have worked out for them here. Is even though they weren't able to take the lead most of the game, they did manage to get the lead. And then, even if Drinkers did take the tower here, they had to get through the whole second checkpoint, which, as we mentioned, is a huge choke. And in those last 20 seconds, Freedom just took control of the map, and didn't let Ink Drinkers do anything, and that does give them the win.
Yeah, right there, just being able to just hold on, using those GG strikes, if anything, to just secure that win. That's why strikes are really important here, from both sides. Just being able to be like, wrong, our tower, stealing the game here. Freedom taking the set 5-2.
Yeah, a very, very great performance from Freedom. Now, they woke up for this set. I'll remind you, they were 0-4 this Ludi group for this season. They activated something that brought them this win. That was very convincing, and you're gonna have to wonder, what happened the rest of the season. Maybe they're having some off days, but very great performance from Freedom. Hopefully we can see more from them soon. But Ink Drinkers, on the other hand, they may have lost this set, but we are going to see them later tonight. And not only that is their potential to get into the playoffs. The next set is a very important one, as whichever team wins will be going to playoffs on Ink Drinkers versus, the name is escaping me. Oh no, name is escaping me. The name escaped me. Oh no.
Is it Squiddy ST, if I remember correctly?
No, it's not Squiddy ST. I have it. I'm pulling it up.
We're pulling it up. What is it?
Squid Sushi. Yes, sorry. Yes, Ink Drinkers versus Squid Sushi will be up next. Yeah, thank you for the graphic. As then whichever team wins that will be going to playoffs. So in a very important set coming up at 9 p.m. EST, about 30 minutes from now. And yeah, so we're gonna have to see a bit of adjustments from Ink Drinkers, because they did seem to struggle there with Freedom, and they have to carry some momentum forward. They have to change their mental if they want to win that next set.
Yeah, the mental is going to be a big thing. Mental is just such a big play in a comp in general here. Unfortunately, they probably weren't getting the momentum they hoped they had gotten from this set, especially because it was a longer one, and it could also lead to burnout. They have 30 minutes to basically prepare themselves here for the next set. That's a lot more. It's going to be a lot more pressure on them, because this is a playoff dependent game. So it really can go either way, and it's going to be a toughie. It's going to be a toughie.
Yes, either way, I hope they give us a show. As again, Ink Drinker, this may have been a 5-2 set, but there was still a lot of back and forth. I think it was still a very strong set, though. Again, Freedom, they woke up today. They decided they had something to prove. They said, you know what? No, we're not going 0-5 this season of Ludi. We're coming in guns blazing, and they gave us a great show.
Yep, a show indeed here, and oh my goodness, what a phenomenal set here. If anything, it was just I loved seeing just the midline plays, just the different comps coming out. I'm eating these weapons, exploring it with my teeth even.
Yeah, it was very fun to get to watch the double sword comp through a lot of it. And again, seeing a Hydra as well. Hydra, a weapon that a lot of people love and respect, though isn't run very often. Can be a very deadly weapon too. I believe the highest DPS in the entire game. So can be a very scary weapon in the right hands. And we did see a lot of good work from Bullcalp on the side of Ink Drinkers. But yeah, both teams, gave us a great show. But Freedom just one step ahead.
They locked in for the set. That's all I could say. They genuinely just went locking in. I love their plays. I just love the way they utilized, the range that they had. I said it multiple times, said it again. I loved their work during this game. But both of these teams absolutely threw hands. Great stuff from both sides. But again, Freedom taking in this set. Oh, we're going back. We're taking a peek.
Yeah, so do you have any closing thoughts, closing statements here, Fufu?
It's like not much. I feel like I've said all that I could here. Again, I was very fond of the chip comps that we've been seeing here, and Ink Drinkers, of course, they did a great job as well. But Freedom just being able to just take it home here at the end. They had a dominant 3 first games here, and it got a lot more even towards the middle. I think we were seeing the adaptation from Ink Drinkers come to play, but unfortunately not going to be enough there, as Freedom takes set 5-2, and I think that is just about it here.
Yeah, that's all we have for now. Like I said, we do have another set coming up in 30 minutes, 9 p.m. EST. It'll be Ink Drinkers versus Squid Sushi. So we are going to be staying live up until that point, though I do believe there are currently matches happening over on SplatoonTourney1. So make sure to go tune into those matches, but don't close this tab because we will be back in about 30 minutes. So before we head off, Fufu, where can the lovely people who've been watching find you on the internet?
You guys can find me at SplatFufu on Twitter for some art shenanigans, backline shenanigans. We're here for a good time, not a long time. Ooh, you want to see the art so bad.
Yes,
Hammy, where can
please,
the lovely people find you? Oh, sorry.
please go look at Fufu's art. Fufu is a great artist.
Oh, get you!
And please go check it out. Though actually, sorry, we are not live on SplatoonTourney1. The set was delayed. So yeah, just keep SplatoonTourney1 open, another tab. Listen to like the background music, just kind of hang out, stay in chat, and just so you don't miss that next set. But yeah, I'm Hammy. You can find me on Twitter at HammyInTheWall and most other platforms at HammyInTheWall, though I'm not currently really doing much in terms of streaming and stuff. I've just been too busy with IRL. And as well, you can find me on Discord at HITW because Hammy in the Wall is too long. And
oh, no.
So those are our sets for today. Fufu, was great to commentate with you, and shout out to our streamer here, Dynamite Central. Very, very great work. And yeah, I think that's all from us tonight, or not tonight, but that's all from me and Fufu tonight.
Stick around, guys.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Ludi Tonight. My name is Virus, and I am here with Jokera. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Yes, we're both doing really good right now. And right now, we are going to get into our reschedule match with Ink Drinkers going up against Squid Sushi. And this is going to be a very high stakes match indeed, because this match determines who gets second in their group. So a lot is running on this match between the two teams.
It's going to be interesting to see how both of these teams play in that case, given how important of a match it is. I anticipate there's going to be a lot of high stakes tension in these games.
Yes, 100%. Both teams are definitely feeling the pressure going into the first game in this set, which is going to be on Clamblitz on Scorched Gorge. Now, Clamblitz on Scorched Gorge is like a pretty well-known map in an all modes format, and it's a pretty well-liked map mode. As I would say myself, I haven't really seen anyone really dislike this match. Not this match. Dislike this map mode at all. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these two teams are going to be going into this very first game here.
Yeah, I know this map plays a lot around the clam economy, especially with how many different batches of clams can be found around mid, and how easy it is to throw them back up towards the basket. So it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be interesting to see what comps that we start to see as a way of getting in, and just how well each team plays their clam economy.
Yes, 100%. It's also going to be interesting to see not just how they play around their clam economy, but how they play around their pushes, because you basically have two options to move forward here. You have the main option by the ramp, and you also have the area by the grates on top mid, which could be a really good option for a lot of backlines to be on. And speaking of backlines, as we're getting into it, we see a Hydra splat lane on the side of Ink Drinkers, and on the side of Lemon, on the side of Kiwi Ice Cream, not Kiwi Ice Cream, on the side of Squid Sushi, we have a Cider on the Charger, which is going to be interesting to see. This map having as much sightlines as it does is going to be really strong for both of these backline weapons that we're seeing right now. As we see Squid Sushi being really aggressive towards the right side. Unfortunately, the decapitator on the side of Squid Sushi does go down. And right now, with 2 down on the side of Squid Sushi, it seems like Ink Drinkers is going to try to keep up the aggression going forward, as I do get another 2 down on them. And this Zuka is trying to take care of the decap once again. Misses all the shots, but it is getting taken down by a teammate. And now Ink Drinkers, with that cooler up, is going to look to extend their push even further, as they are going to have the Booyah Bomb coming out. And with that power clam going in, it seems like that they're going to extend their score right then and here.
Yeah, we saw that Hydra set up on left. There's a pretty big Hydra position, honestly, because it allows because how much of a safe push you can set up through right, and how much of the traction your rest of your team can apply. That Hydra was allowed to get up. But now we see a crab come out here on the side of Squid Sushi, unable to find anyone, but certainly going to help in being able to push Ink Drinkers back to allow Squid Sushi to take back mid somewhat.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes all you really need is to have that secure special to just not necessarily get any picks, but to help push the enemy team away. Unlike the Zuka, which is able to get a really nice pick on one member on the cafeteria on the side of Squid Sushi. And now Freezy on the shot on this left side does have 7 clams. It's going to be looking for the 8th. Probably asking the Hydra for that last clam, and they do give it to him. But with 1 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, it does seem like that they are going to try to hold back, as Fallhole is rushing forward without the cavitator. Is able to take 1 down, 2, go down on the side of Ink Drinkers. And now with this crab, Fallhole really up aggressive with this crab tank. It looks like that we're going to have a power climb jump on the side of Squid Sushi, and with the bubble coming up with the bubble and the vac out to secure this push. With 1 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, it looks like Squid Sushi is going to further push their lead, as they are able to get a lead from that 1 push and are able to further extend their lead. And it does seem like that Ink Drinkers is going to hold this advantage. No, I stand corrected. It does seem like the one Squid Sushi is going to try to go for a sneaky power clam Russian. However, they do miss that power clam score. And now, even though Squid Sushi does not have the biggest lead, it's still a lead at the end of the day. And they are going to work towards getting another push in with the space advantage that they have right now.
Yeah, Ink Drinkers, or not Ink Drinkers, Squid Sushi, seemingly wanting to maintain mid here as a way to just continue to push Ink Drinkers back. Not attempting to make, they do have enough clams to make a push, but they're seemingly not wanting to make a push immediately. However, now that they went 2 down, or got Ink Drinkers 2 down, seems like they are going to have to make that push, and we see here the dualies are able to find that.
Yes, Squid Sushi did try to go for a power clam score right there, but they didn't really have any more body on that in that push, any more resources in that push in order to back up that score, and they were only going to be able to get that singular power clam score, which does result in Ink Drinkers getting an extra pity and allowing them to have a greater to potentially get a lot more devastating push. And with that Zuka snipe on the Ink Jet on the side of Freezy on Ink Drinkers, it does seem like that Ink Drinkers is going to try to make a push here as one go down as the decap does go down on the side of Squid Sushi. However, the shot gets traded in response, the T-Tech gets traded in response. Right now Ink Drinkers just juggling the ball back right in their plat, just trying to just get their specials and trying to make sure that everyone regroups in order for a successful push to happen. And with the Zuka coming out, it's trying to find something. It doesn't really find anything right now, but right now it does seem like that Ink Drinkers does have a decent foothold on their side of the map, and it's looking to reclaim mid further. But also I say that Jade on this decap is able to go on top mid and take that space, and is able to take care of the shot in the process. And Jade is just chilling on this top part of the map, getting a lot of attention pointed towards them, and with the bubble on the left side in order to try to secure things. However, with 2 down on the side of Squid Sushi, it does look like that Jay is going to give up that space, which does allow Ink Drinkers to push it with their own specials, as the Booyah and the strikes do come out on the ramp in order to try to make something happen. However, with the counter vac in response from Saturn, it does seem like that this push is going to be put to a stop, but this shot is just going in, trying to contest the back. However, to no avail, but with 2 down on the side of Squid Sushi, it does seem like that Ink Drinkers is going to get a potential score and maybe take lead here, and they do with the score to 50, and with the staggered wipe on the side of Squid Sushi. It does seem like that Ink Drinkers is going to keep on going with another power climb jump, which is going to put down the score all the way down to 21, and with 2 down on the side of Squid Sushi, it does seem like that Ink Drinkers is going to potentially KO here with 6 seconds left on the clock. Squid Sushi has to make a move here, they have to potentially try to put a stop to this push. They finally clear everyone out. However, that's a lot of damage on the side of Squid Sushi, but no, I believe that was the high Hydra that snuck right behind them, and which allows Ink Drinkers in overtime to get the last claim needed in order to secure the first game win.
That was a really well played game by both teams there. When we get to the replay, there's honestly a couple of things I'd like to highlight out of that game from both teams. Firstly, the play again to push the Hydra out on left as a means of just providing that large amount of DPS forward towards their push, or allowed Ink Drinkers a significant amount of leeway in just taking their time for their push, which notably may have been helpfully extended by the dualies trying to push their power clam into there, allowed Ink Drinkers to get another pity clam for their push. As well, the VAC coming out from Squid Sushi allowed them to extend their pushes for quite a while. So really liked what both teams were bringing to the table.
Yes, I also want to point out how well Ink Drinkers played that very first push, because they were able to get a really nice pincer situation on Squid Sushi's basket, and with Squid Sushi as Squid Sushi was like running out of numbers, they were just not able to take care of everyone on every single angle that Ink Drinkers could come from, and as a result, Ink Drinkers was able to snowball really nicely in order to get the clams down to where they are right now. And I also want to point out that really nice sneak that the Hydra did near the end during overtime, which was able to seal the deal for Ink Drinkers. But right now we are going into game 2 on Sturgeon Shipyard Tower Control. Not one of my favorite map modes out there, but it is indeed a map mode. I don't know why this map mode is an example, really, but it exists. We have to play it. Sometimes we have to play map modes that the majority of the community doesn't like. But other than that, I really cannot wait to see what these teams are going to whip out on this more unconventional map mode that we're seeing as we are getting straight into this next game. Right now, Ink Drinkers is, I believe, running the same combos they did last game. Meanwhile, Squid Sushi is switching it up, opting to run a double bucket comp with the Tri-Slosher and Dreadringer, which in my opinion is a really good pick on this map, considering the amount of AoE and the amount of legends that are on this map. However, no cooler on the side of Squid Sushi, which is going to be interesting in terms of how fast they are going to play. But as Squid Sushi gets mid early and is able to take the tower early, and are able to stagger the cooler on the side of Ink Drinkers early, it does seem like that Squid Sushi is going to get a really nice setup in mid right now.
Yeah, the double slosher pick, especially here, further allows Squid Sushi, if they manage to get control of the snipe area, just allows them to throw down as many sloshes as they want, getting very high damage numbers on Ink Drinkers here. Especially as we see the dualies here going for a bit of a flank as well to try and get the Hydra. Gonna have to see if they find the pick. Unfortunately, they are not able to find the Hydra pick, but they are able to at least find one. With this Hydra continuing to get set up on the snipe, which is going to be very hard to take down for Squid Sushi, unless they make a very coordinated push against it.
Yes, I did like how Follow Hole did divert the attention of the Hydra, but it didn't really seem like that we had any teammate follow-up from it. And as a result, the Hydra was just able to push right back up, and now Ink Drinkers should just settle back in mid once again, as both teams are just going to fight for the middle of the map. Right now, Squid Sushi with their early lead. However, with the Hydra going down, it does seem like that Squid Sushi is going to try to make a play here. However, the Dreadbringer is a little bit too far split away from the rest of the team, and now it seems like Ink Drinkers is going to try to push back in, but with the constant trades coming out, it does seem like that we're going to be staying at a little bit of a stalemate. However, this cooler could do wonders for Ink Drinkers if they could get a couple of good trades in. However, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen as two go down on the side of Ink Drinkers. However, they are cooler and they are going to keep their strikes, which is going to be really beneficial in order for them to stop that push really quickly. However, it does seem like that Squishy is going to try to extend their lead. The Inkjet is going for the Hydra on the grid. It's not able to collect any shots, and they do recall back to tower. And now the Hydra is back, set up on that top right, trying to wall out that area. And with that Zuka coming out, it looks like that they're going to try to lock down that right side of the map. It's going to be really difficult for Squishy to push through that area. However, with 2 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, it does seem like that is going to be possible. 3 go down on the side of Ink Drinkers, and now Squishy with a massive space and a massive numbers advantage is going to try to push forward as this Hydra is going to go down by Fall Hole. And now Squid Sushi with the massive numbers advantage is going to try to snowball this out of control. This is a really big snowbally map mode, and you do not want to be caught in the back foot like this, having specials constantly being thrown at you as 2 go down on the side of Ink Drinkers once again. And with the Hydra that's a long left alive, it doesn't mean that Squid Sushi is going to try to KO this. This Booyah has to do wonders for Ink Drinkers if they want to come back, and the Booyah does come out in time on the tower. And now with 3 down on the side of Squid Sushi, Ink Drinkers that has 1 more life, has another life going into this next push, but they have to have a big push if they want to run this back.
That was a very good push out there from Squid Sushi, just using the fact that their comp is able to play significantly faster in comparison to Ink Drinker's comp, which again has a Hydra, which is significantly slower. It allows them to stall out in mid significantly easier, but it makes it harder to push, as then the Hydra has to take a couple seconds to actually get set up anyway. We see here, however, because again that Hydra is significantly able to wall them out, the Hydra is able to find the pick, but they do go down to Squid Sushi, so we're gonna have to see how well. Oh, it looks like it's just a bunch of trades right now in mid.
This is just trade central going off of mid. However, it does seem like that is going to go into the favor of Ink Drinkers, as they are going to get set up and try to go for a push of their own. Keep in mind, this map is a really snowballing map. Once one team takes control of the spinner and is able to get a lot of their specials out on the enemy side of the map, it's going to be really difficult for the enemy team in order to try to combat that, and it often results in just a lot of points being ticked down in that team's favor. However, it does seem like that Squid Sushi is going to have a really good stop on this push as 3 go down on the side of Ink Drinkers, and now with this H on the side of K9, it does seem like that they're going to try to fight back for the space on the left side of the map. And now with the left side completely clear, it does seem like they're going to try to just take complete control of mid, as Jade is pushing up with this Dreadringer, unable to find the pick on the Hydra. However, this Whale and the Mist that Jade was being stuck in, I'm pretty sure, is going to allow K9 to take it out. And with 15 seconds left on the clock, it doesn't seem like that Ink Drinkers is going to take tower here. They have to go for tower now. However, it doesn't seem like that that they have the amount of resources that it needed to be. The Zap is going to try to rush tower to try to make something happen. However, it doesn't matter, as Squid Sushi is going to take the second game, as we are now going into the third game tied 1-1.
I thought that game was played really well by both teams. I feel like both teams brought out very different strategies. However, I do think that Squid Sushi's faster comp was significantly more prepared for this map, especially on a push like this. With how sloshers, and especially having Inkjet on a comp like this, being able to just hit over those walls where you may not be able to get through an area like this, as well as in addition to this map mode also being one of the few to still have the attacking spun on left there. It allowed Squid Sushi significant more opportunities to continue making pushes, continue making plays, as well as just being able to outpace how the more slower kind of stall out comp that I feel like Ink Drinkers was attempting to run there.
Yes, 100%. Squid Sushi just had more options in order to just fight, really. They had the AoE from the Slosher. They had a bunch of their specials that could like hit over ledges as well. They have the Inkjet in order to as well just pressure from over ledges as well. And it did seem like that Ink Drinkers does not really have the resources needed to just deal with it. Keep in mind they were running triple shooter in this game and a splat link, so it was going to be really difficult for them to just hit around those corners. And as a result, Squid Sushi was able to take advantage of that, play around to their cover effectively, and they were able to take that game win. Right now we are going to go into our third game, Undertow Spillway on Rainmaker. Now so Jakira, what are your general thoughts on this map mode? Because mine are like pretty positive. in terms of this particular map mode?
I think this probably might be the best Rainmaker map in the series. Honestly, I really enjoy how different it feels in comparison to a lot of Rainmaker maps, how open it feels past mid, but I also like how cramped mid is. I've personally never found that to be an issue for me on this map. So again, it's going to be interesting to see what comps both teams bring here, especially with how Squid Sushi just seemingly pivoted immediately into a more fast-paced rushdown comp, which it does seem to be what Squid Sushi here is bringing out again against Ink Drinkers. Ink Drinkers, however, have changed one of their weapons to a 52 gal, I believe. I don't believe we saw that last game. So we're just going to have to see how both teams here take this initial mid fight and then see what ends up happening from there.
Going from the pin pot 8 Zukas a game to the raid boss main weapon. I love to see it. And I do feel like that Gal is a pretty strong main weapon on this map, considering how Wall could just allow you to contest a lot of space without allowing you to get punished to a certain degree. And that is allowing Ink Drinkers to just kind of get a push towards the first checkpoint. However, this Inkjet is able to put us up to immediately. However, this T-Tech is going to try to make a flank to try to make something happen. However, it doesn't really get a pick, it does offer some sort of distraction in order for Ink Drinkers to get that first checkpoint. And now, with that Booyah Bomb that they have on the side of Ink Drinkers, it does seem like that they're going to extend it even further as 3 go down on the side of Squid Sushi, and now the Rainmaker carrier is just going to rush forward, getting it all the way down to 30 before Cider takes them out. And now it does seem like that Squid Sushi is going to try to regroup back near this ramp. However, with the jumps coming in from Ink Drinkers, it does seem like that they're going to fight back for the space, as they are getting pretty close to their specials. They are close to they were close to a whale. However, 3 go down on the side of Ink Drinkers, and the wave coming out on the side of Ink Drinkers, and now Squid Sushi is going to try to push up. Maybe going to try to go for this right check. No, it seems like that they're going to opt for the left. We see Fall Hole going to set up a cap on this left side, and is able to get a very early pick on the T-Tech, as everyone else is going to push up on this ramp to get to the checkpoint. And it does seem like that everyone is very pushed up really far, and with 2 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, Cider is going to be able to get a free walk towards that checkpoint, and it does seem like that they're going to keep on going here.
Yeah, that was a really amazing recovery there from Squid Sushi, just being able to find that checkpoint almost near immediately from the other side of their base. However, we're going to have to see how Ink Drinkers was able to come back from this. Opts to reset the Rainmaker, as we still have the Gal here on right, just being able to maintain watch and be able to attempt to wall out any of Squid Sushi as they attempt to make a push in, which it does seem like they are going to be attempting. However, again, the Gal, and the Gal goes down, unfortunately, but still really good play on that part. We're going to have to see if they find lead here. It does seem like they are. However, they do go down to the white, which leaves Ink Drinkers another opportunity to come back and try and take lead back.
Squid Sushi was able to pop all the resources in order to get that lead, and that's basically what they wanted. I don't really think that they care about getting wiped there, so long as they got what they wanted, what they came to get. And that's exactly what they come to get. They got the lead, and now with 2 minutes left on the clock, they could just sit pretty here and just try to stall out the rest of the clock, as Ink Drinkers does not really have, well, they do have a good amount of time to spare, but they cannot waste any time that they have, as any amount of time wasted just goes into the favor of Squid Sushi. And right now, it does seem like that they're just going to stall on this right side. K9 and I believe that's Cider just fighting on this right side, trying to just stall some space there. And with 2 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, it does seem like that has worked. And now Squid Sushi with a stall foothold in mid, and Fall Hole with the bag, just taunting Ink Drinkers right in their face. Just, I don't even know, but like still, Squid Sushi just has a really good foothold on mid. However, with 1 down on the side of Squid Sushi, it does seem like that Ink Drinkers is going to try to come back with someone dying to the Rainmaker pop. And now Panda rushing forward on Jade, going to get the pick on Jade. And now Ink Drinkers is going to try to push up on this left side. However, Cider just holding down on this left side, trying to maintain a foothold on this left side. But Panda wants him. Panda's going for him, but it doesn't work out, as Jade's able to come in and get the trade. And the Gal goes down as well. well. And now with 2 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, it doesn't seem like that they're going to continue to push any further as the Rainmaker does go down. And with the Inkjet popped to try to push them further back, it doesn't seem like that Ink Drinkers is going to try to continue this push further. The strikes are getting popped. However, the Inkjet gets 2. Kinon gets 2 with the Inkjet. And now with 30 seconds left on the clock, it does seem like that Squid Sushi might secure the game so long as they play their cards correctly. They cannot make a mistake here. They need to be able to hold the middle of the map and prevent Ink Drinkers from getting any type of major push in here.
Absolutely. All the Squid Sushi really needs to do now is just prevent Ink Drinkers from just trying to make one other push. They really don't have much else to do. Ink Drinkers is not even able to grab the Rainmaker in time. They unfortunately miss, meaning that game 2 will go to Squid Sushi.
Yes, Squid Sushi, after being down in the beginning of the game, having to drop 30 points on the board, were able to come back later on in the game and did have a very nice defense throughout the rest of the game. And it didn't seem like that Ink Drinkers really came back from that.
Yeah, that was a very unfortunate miss for Ink Drinkers. I completely understand though that those situations can be extremely high stress, so I don't really blame them for that. But it is an unfortunate play there. But
yes, 100%. It's really unfortunate when stuff doesn't go your way, especially in these really stressful moments. But at some point, you just have to look at the next game instead, and just not dawn on the current game that you lost. And speaking of the next game, we're going on to Umami Zones, another fairly well-known map mode in the game, especially if you follow top level Splatoon in zones only formats. You see this map mode being played a lot. And I would like to see how Squid Sushi's comp is going to play in this, since this is another slosher dominant map, so to speak, with the large amount of cover that this map provides. So it's going to be interesting to see how they approach this.
yeah. However, I will say though, I do think Ink Drinkers, with their Hydra, I do think that this map is a pretty good Hydra map, in all honesty. Being able to set up on the snipe, being able to bait both zones, I believe, from this snipe. Especially for a Hydra, which is able to provide a lot of continuous paint. It certainly does allow Ink Drinkers a significant advantage to just have that Hydra be set up on snipe, being able to just provide a large wall that Squid Sushi will have to overcome if they want to continue making a push on this map.
Yes, 100%. And if Ink Drinkers is able to just get Squid Sushi away from the constant amounts of ledges that they're playing under, and just bait them into the death laser that is the Hydra, it's gonna be really beneficial for them in order to just hold their ground. It's just all in the means of how they're going to go about that. How are they gonna make Squid Sushi just play in more open areas, considering the fact that they don't have as much AoE weapons themselves. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they're going to go into it. But I do agree 100% that Hydra is going to be really good into Squid Sushi. Probably even a matchup check on this particular map, considering how many angles that the Hydra could watch at a time. And right now we're going into this next game. We are going to see what weapons are going to be whipped out in this next game.
So, and it seems like, again, Freezy seemingly changing again, this time going for the Wiper instead of the 52 gal. Certainly is going to be very helpful in being able to play faster. Wiper, I know, is a very fast weapon. So I guess we'll see how this game plays out with the Wiper instead of the 52 gal.
I always love seeing the Wiper being whipped out in any competitive setting. It doesn't matter what set is. So long as I see a Wiper, I'm going to be happy. But right now, Ink Drinkers is going to get an early 2 down on the side of Squid Sushi. And with that early 2 down, it does seem like that they're going to take space on top mid and potentially going to push up even further. However, it does seem like that they're going to play a little bit more slower here. A little bit more conserved, using those strikes in order to get the rest of their front lines in, getting the Wiper in on their plat. However, it doesn't feel like it's going to work out. The Booyah does seem like the Booyah did come in a little bit too late, and that allows Squid Sushi to get a really nice clapback on the zone as 2 go down, 3 go down on the side of Ink Drinkers. right now, Swiss Sushi is gonna have a pretty solid foothold in mid. They are gonna be able to get a really nice setup in the middle of the map here, and it does seem like that Swiss Sushi is going to get the specials that they need in order to try to lock out. However, the stamp is right on the side of Ink Drinkers. However, with the Hydra down early, it doesn't seem like that there's gonna be much of a foothold here as the stamp does come out. It gets 3 on the side of Squid Sushi. The stamp is looking for a 4th. Can it get the 4th? No, it doesn't. Sire jumps out in time. However, that is a really nice triple on the side of Freezy to open things up for the side of Ink Drinkers, and now they're the ones on the front foot. And now with that cooler coming out, it does seem like that they're gonna try to stay on the offense. However, with 2 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, it doesn't seem like that Swiss Sushi is going to come back. However, Ink Drinkers is coolered, but as I say that, the Reef Slider gets a lot of people on the side of Ink Drinkers, and now Swiss Sushi is back on the offense. And with this crab set up, it does seem like that they're going to just put the pedal on the gas, or put the foot on the gas for just a little bit longer.
Yeah, but even if Squid Sushi were able to take it back, they now have a significant penalties. They're only now just being able to get lead here. And they're almost immediately being pressured again as Ink Drinkers continues to bring the pressure. So we're going to have to see how Squid Sushi is able to maintain this. As one goes down almost immediately to the Hydra here, Viper is able to find 2 picks here, is looking to get a 3rd, finds that 3rd, and is able to brings Ink Drinkers back in again with how fast it's able to move.
The Stamp Masterclass from Freezy is able to get, I believe it was a triple on the side of Squid Sushi to clutch out to clutch out for their team as they were the last one alive, and now Ink Drinkers is going to have complete control of it right now with the Hydra set up on top mid. This is the situation that they want. Get this Hydra set up on top mid and just secure as much space as possible as we do get an Inkjet snipe on the side of Ink Drinkers. And now with 1 down on the side of Squid Sushi, it does seem like that Ink Drinkers is going to try to hold this space. However, here comes the Reef Slider on this left side. It's going to stall out the zone. However, it doesn't find too much. As with 1 down on the side of Squid Sushi, they do have to wait for the resources to come back online. And this crab is probably not going to do too much if it doesn't like get a whole bunch of picks on the side of Ink Drinkers. And with the trade, and with the Viper trade on the side of Ink Drinkers, it does seem like that they're gonna try to take the game right here as 3 go down on the side of Squid Sushi. And now with Squid Sushi all the way back up in the spawn, it doesn't seem like that they're gonna come back in time, and that's gonna be the game for Ink Drinkers as we are going into gonna go into the next game 2-2 in a very close set so far. I'm excited to see how much further this set is going to go.
I don't know if you saw it there, but on the right, towards the near end of the game, I saw a play that really kind of... I feel like that play kind of sealed the deal for Ink Strikers for winning the game, as their T-Tech was able to pop the strikes and forcing the crab and someone who had moved over to the right platform to get off of that little like snipe area on the right there, and 2 of them fell off of the side of the map.
No.
It really just allowed Ink Drinkers to get set up even further into Squid Sushi's base and just continue to put pressure on them and just force them to have to spend time to deal with that as it went down to take the game.
You do not want to lose a set like that. Squid Sushi just tried to like run it back. However, those strikes, like you said, just didn't really secure the pick. However, it did force 2 people to take the only way out, and that only way out is not necessarily a safe way out. And right now we are gonna go into game 5, which is gonna be on Museum Clams. By far one of my favorite map modes in the entire game. I don't know about you, Jakira. I don't know how you feel about the map mode, but personally for me, this map mode, I love it quite a bit, honestly.
Yeah, I got a couple I personally love casually a little bit more than this, but I think competitively this is definitely one of the best map modes in this game, if not honestly maybe this whole series in comparison to every single Clams map we've had.
Yes, 100%. This map, Museum Clams is like a pretty like open map, allowing for like different like ways that you could like get a push in order to continue scoring. And right now we are going to see the same comp being stuck on the side of Ink Drinkers. However, Squid Sushi, with a really big weapon change, opting to stick for the leader instead of the Rabbit Pro Deco. which is going to be really interesting to see. I do believe that leader is really good on this map. I have thought really good leaders on this map that just made it seem impossible to just get any type of push into into mid really. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how SplatoonTourney does play around this leader, as they are gonna get a really early take on to mid. However, it does seem like this Slider does not go down actually, doesn't get punished. It is able to get an assist on someone on the side of Ink Drinkers. And now SplatoonTourney, with all their members up, with all the space that they can work with, is just gonna try to continue to push forward here.
Yeah, both teams currently seemingly just taking mid fights. However, it does seem that Ink Drinkers is able to at least try and take more of mid. Unfortunately, their wiper does go down as an inkjet, as K9 pops their inkjet, only to go down to the Hydra on side of Ink Drinkers, continuing to maintain mid, and just seemingly are going for a push here.
Yeah, trying to go for the push. However, the Wavebreaker is able to take care of 2 people, and even though Ink Drinkers are able to get a singular power climb score in, it doesn't seem like that they're able to follow up more on that, as they are all it's just a delayed wipe on the side of Ink Drinkers. And now Jade on this left side is going to try to poke on that left block. However, with 2 people looking at them, it doesn't seem like that they're going to try to commit to that, and they do back out. However, this crab is going to be huge. The Hydra on the side of Ink Drinkers is really weak, and however, it doesn't seem like that they go down. However, it does allow the Inkjet to be set up, and it does allow to get a pick on the Wiper. And with Jade all the way up front, it does seem like that they're going to try to push more further as 2 go down on the side of Ink Drinkers. However, SplatoonTourney does not have the clam economy. They're trying to force space on the enemy team. However, they just now got a power clam, and even though they just not got a power clam, they went so many members down in the process of that push that they just are not able to get a foothold on Ink Drinkers plat. And even though they are contesting a neutral, it doesn't seem like that they are able to get a push even further. And with 3 down on the side of SplatoonTourney, it doesn't seem like that Ink Drinkers is going to try to make a play here. And with all the clams in the world that they have at their disposal, it doesn't seem like that it's going to go the distance as they get a score all the way down to 50. And now with the stamp coming out on the side of Freezy, it does get one. Will it get Cider? Yes, it does. And this stamp all the way deep into the basket, it's able to get a lot of space. And with 3 down on the side of SplatoonTourney, Ink Drinkers is going to extend their score even further. And they have and it does seem like that they do have the clams to just potentially KO it if they're able to just all stay alive and get the clams in. And they do, with both, I believe, the Zap and the Hydra on the side of Ink Drinkers just getting those clams in. Ink Drinkers with only needing 3 minutes on the clock to just snowball that push out of control for SplatoonTourney.
Absolutely. As that game felt like it was in neutral for so long, and then Ink Drinkers just immediately just booked it, immediately pushing the gas as soon as they got 1 clam in. Just mostly because they just maintained most of the clam economy, as well as just having almost all of the clams that spawned as soon as they pushed.
Yes, 100%. Ink Drinkers did do a better job at just maintaining the amount of clams that they had, and were able to pass around the clams needed, and were able to get enough clams in order to take this, in order to end the game really quickly. And I will also say that, like, since like we're seeing like different like strategies in terms of comps from each side, one team going for a more AoE style comp on the side of SplatoonTourney, meanwhile Ink Drinkers is just going for more open space in terms of movement and just taking more open fights. We are seeing how these playstyles both clash together in these different maps. It did seem like that Ink Drinkers did have the advantage, considering that Museum is the more open map than any of the other maps that we played in, and it does seem like it could play into their advantage on this Game 6 going into Hagglefish Market. However, both teams having their dedicated backlines, it does seem like that both backlines are gonna on this map are gonna be really strong here, especially the Hydra and the leader, if SplatoonTourney decides to stick with that.
Absolutely. I know that this map is at least from my experience, this map tends to be a backliner's dream, being able to have such a easily like accessible snipe area, 2 accessible snipe areas most of the time on many of the maps, modes for this map, both on left and on right via the tent. Both Leader and Hydra are really going to be able to make effective use of this if they decide to stick with the with each team sticking with backline. However, it does seem like we switch back to the Rapid Deco Pro on the side of Squid Sushi, which is an interesting play because again, it's going to allow them to just continue to play a little bit faster in comparison to Ink Drinker's comp with the Hydra.
Yes, 100%. It did seem like that Squid Sushi did think that the leader did slow them down a little bit too much, so they just want to opt for that for just more speed and mobility on their comp, considering that 2 of their weapons kind of lacks it. And now Fall Hole skirmishing on this bottom left side is able to get 2 and just staying alive on this bottom left. They do back out in order to try to potentially get a good crab spot with K9 in the front lines with this Inkjet. It does seem like that Squid Sushi is going to get a push all the way to the first checkpoint, and with the crab on the side on the glass of Ink Drinkers' glass. This is the way that Squid Sushi is going to get the first check. However, with Cider going down the check, it does delay by a little bit. However, they are able to get the first checkpoint, but the Booyah is able to stall enough for Panda to potentially make a play here. However, a 1-for-1 trade does happen, which does slightly favor Squid Sushi, as Ink Drinkers does have to use the resources in order to get mid. Meanwhile, Squid Sushi could just sit pretty in mid and just let them waste the resources in order to allow Squid Sushi to set up a better push of their own. And right now, it does seem like that Squid Sushi does have a decent foothold on mid. They do go 1 down. However, it does seem like that they're just going to use their paint advantage in order to just make it more harder for Ink Drinkers to push back in.
Absolutely. Squid Sushi was able to take their first check there. However, something that I find fascinating about this map is that the first checkpoint tends to be the easiest one to take out, and then as you continue to push forward, it just becomes significantly harder and harder and harder as the tower goes past some really good defensive ground. And you really need to be able to set up on that defensive ground. Raid here looking to believe not, thought that was a flank coming in with the Reslider, is able to find 1, is now just going to be able to ride the tower. This just seemingly just wanting to push even further on the side of Squid Sushi, with Fall Hole and K9 trying to push up even further and push ahead of the tower there a little bit.
It's 100%, and this is the type of situation that Squid Sushi wants. They want to get the tower as far to their side as possible and just use the rest of their specials in order to just snowball the push even further. It didn't seem like it went in their favor, as they did go down early in that push, and now we do have Ink Drinkers trying to make a push of their own. You do see the Zuka having Ice on the right side, trying to call out a flank. Over Fall Hole is just sharking there, just spamming bombs, just diverting any attention that they can on this right side. And it did seem like that there's 3 people focused on them on that right side, and with the zap down, it does seem like that Ink Drinkers is gonna have to just spread out the resources a little bit more in order to just hold as much space as possible.
Yeah.
Right now. And right now with 2 down on the side of Ink Drinkers with the crab up on tower, it does seem like that Squid Sushi is going to try to make a really nice push of their own. No one's really taking an aggressive position on their plan. No one's really fighting with the crab, which is something that is really surprising in my opinion. Over with this whale setting up Fall Hole for the shark on this top right, it does seem like that Squid Sushi is going to try to make something happen. However, with 2 down on the side of Squid Sushi, it doesn't seem like nothing's going to happen. But Fall Hole by the tower is just staying alive, just trying to just make a play happen. They almost able to pick on the T-Tech on the tower. However, the T-Tech is going to be able to clutch out their life right there. And now it's Ancient Drinker's turn in order to try to make a push happen. However, with the T-Tech mark, it doesn't seem like that they're going to make an aggressive play. They are going to back out and reset with the rest of their team. And with the Booyah coming out, it does seem like that Ancient Drinkers is going to try to make a push forward. However, they do opt to be on the right side to try to clear something out. Not sure exactly what they were trying to like clear out there. However, with 3 on side of each team, and all the traits just coming out on each side, it does seem like that Squid Sushi is gonna try to like just maintain control of the tower as 3 go down on the side of Ink Drinkers and the wipeout. And now in the last minute of the game, Squid Sushi has an opportunity to just potentially make a game-winning push if they're able to play their resources correctly.
The thing is, though, is at least in this situation right now, Squid Sushi currently has the lead by about 9 points. Obviously, it's still only a lead of 9 points, but they don't really have to do much if they want to win the game here, and they can just sit on the tower, push it as far as they can, but they don't need to really go for that many new points, which is seemingly what is going to end up happening here, is they only are able to get 1 point off of that push, and are just seemingly just now going to be setting up to just prevent any push that Ink Drinkers may attempt to make.
Ink Drinkers desperately trying to push forward with the cooler on the tower. Pena is going to try to make a play here, but with every single shot going off on the tower, it does seem like that Squish Sushi is going to secure the game, and they do. We're not going to go 3-3 into this week 3 reschedule, but Squish Sushi, in my opinion, played the ending very well. They did end up going down at the end there, but they were able to regroup and just make Ink Drinkers just waste their resources on that push, and that just allows Squishy to just regroup really quickly and just be able to retake tower very quickly in order to prevent Ink Drinkers from just going any further, which is really well played from Squish Sushi, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Ink Drinkers seemingly struggled significantly during the entire game to actually get a push going, and when they were able to get a push going, however, they were able to at least get set up and just stall Squid Sushi out for at least a decent amount of time. But with how long it took them to even find a push in the first place, I don't know. I think Squid Sushi's extremely fast comp here was, again, a pretty good play on their part, despite how backline heavy this map can feel sometimes.
Yes, 100%. It did seem like that there were times where Squish Sushi was getting walled out by the Hydra on the side of Ink Drinkers. However, they were able to just get a good foothold in, and were able to just regroup, and were able to take the game winner off of that. But right now we are going into our game 7, which is going to be on Robo Ramen Rainmaker. I hate this map mode, I'm not gonna lie.
I've heard the exact same thing. I'm indifferent to this one, honestly. I ironically like Tower more on this map than Rainmaker, which is weird, but
I would disagree 100%. Like, yeah, I do not really like Rainmaker on this, but I would rather play Rainmaker than Tower Control. I feel like Tower Control is just really bad to play on this map, considering how little options that you have after the first checkpoint. After the first checkpoint goes, it just feels like the game is already over, considering that you don't really have that much areas to defend. Thankfully, we're not watching a Tower Control game. We're watching a Rainmaker game, which should be more entertaining, considering how fast-paced Rainmaker is. As we are getting into this next game, we are going to see if we're going to see any changes coming in from either of these teams, and it does seem like that we are sticking the same comp on the side of Ink Drinkers, and on the side of what's it called, Squid Sushi as well. We are seeing the same comps being whipped out. We are seeing the weapon from Freezy. We are seeing the RPG from Cider. We are seeing the same weapons from each of these members. No gear changes. I don't think. And right now we are getting into it. Right now we do see Ink Drinkers playing a little bit more defensive on their end. Both teams actually playing really defensive, trying to find their early pick needed in order to try to push in. One of the teams looking for the early special. And right now the T-Tech on the side of Ink Drinkers does go down early. However, the stamp on the side of Ink Drinkers is going to do work on the side of Ink Drinkers. However, the Reef Sider on the side of Jade is able to clean up for Squid Sushi. And it doesn't seem like that they're going to try to get the checkpoint. However, the Zap on the side of Ink Drinkers is able to clear up the Rainmaker. And even though that Squid Sushi does get the pop on the Rainmaker once again, it does seem like that Ink Drinkers is going to try to hold. However, as I say that, Ink Drinkers does get wiped out, and now that allows Squid Sushi in order to secure the checkpoint. And now, even though they do have one down, they can potentially just like push even further. However, 2 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, and this stamp is going to come out to just secure the pop for Ink Drinkers and to secure the space that they have. However, with 2 down on this side of Ink Drinkers, it does seem like that Squid Sushi is going to try to run it back with this Inkjet. Cannot on the Inkjet. It's going to try to secure. It's going to try to fight for some space in the front lines. However, it's not able to find the pick, and right now it does seem like that Squid Sushi is just going to just sit really pretty in the front. Jay is going to try to go for some extra points. However, they do get taken down, and it does seem like that Squid Sushi is going to get their push stuffed out, as they are going to have to sit pretty on 55 for now.
Absolutely, that was an incredibly long sequence. That just happened. Um, However, ink drinkers are seemingly finally able to get a push going. Oh, as the game is having some issues right now. It appears that one DC on the side of Squid Sushi. I do believe they will still have to play this out. As they did break through checkpoint, which I believe does count as halfway through the game. For this. So we're gonna have to see how well they're gonna be able to handle a 3v4.
It doesn't feel that anyone really stopped on each side, so let's know that we are gonna have to play this out, which is unfortunate on the side of Squid Sushi. However, sometimes these types of unfortunate stuff happens. Sometimes Nintendo just does not like us from time to time. And it seems like we're ending the battle here. We are gonna have to see if we're gonna have to replay that, but it did seem like that. However, I think the rule is that it has to be like under 30. I'm not entirely sure though. We will have to look in to see how this is going to work out. We're gonna have to see if we are gonna get a replay or not. However, it did seem like that Squid Sushi was able to get a really nice push at the beginning before that DC. So if we are replaying this map mode, they are gonna have to keep that same momentum in this game 7.
Yeah, I feel like Squid Sushi, despite the wiper being brought back out on the side of ink drinkers, Squid Sushi was very capable of handling that wiper with just being able to take it out before it got set up anywhere too too dangerous for the wiper, especially just getting behind everyone. It seemed like Squid Sushi was significantly better at handling that wiper there.
Yes, yeah, 100%. Right now we are going to we are gonna get some word really soon on how we're gonna handle these DC rules. It does seem like that it was in grounds for a replay. I'm not entirely sure from looking at the rules. The rules do state that a replay is allowed in the first half of the game, which is up to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And it does seem like that we are gonna get a replay. It also seems that and also the points weren't below 30 as well, so it does seem like that we might potentially get a replay. So we are going to see not necessarily a rematch, but a run back on this map mode to see if Squid Sushi can continue the momentum that they have started at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, ink drinkers especially. I think both teams, honestly, now that they know what kind of momentum each team is going to be bringing, it's going to be interesting to, I believe, see how well they play around that momentum. Maybe, ink drinkers maybe try to play a little bit faster to just prevent Squid Sushi from being able to get set up extremely quickly again. Maybe Squid Sushi, tries to handle the lockouts a little bit better, maybe waiting on those specials. I guess one other thing, while we still have time here while we're waiting, something I did want to bring up was the pick of Vanilla Dreadbringer on the side of Squid Sushi. Now, I'm not here to say that Reef Slider is a good special or anything, but I do think Reef Slider has been buffed significantly to a point where even if you're going to get punished with it, you are capable of having a large explosion. I believe someone calced it and found out that vanilla Reef Slider, without using any special power-up, is very capable of having the same blast radius for 70 damage as Bubble Blower, as a single bubble from Bubble Blower, Splatoon 2. So just having that large bubble of damage, I feel, has at the very least made Reef Slider a very interesting pick to see here, being able to pick off people that maybe have been weak from other fights, or just start having or just dishing out significant damage in a large area just to threaten people.
Yes, 100%. Don't get me wrong. Resetter is still a very inconsistent special. However, it's more reliable than it was before with the damage buff that you just mentioned. And I have seen firsthand that it is fairly annoying to play against as well, considering that if you did take 30 damage, even if you think that you are far enough away from the special, you're not far enough away from the special. You are going to get splatted. And it is going to be interesting, and I do like how they have adapted the Dreadringer into their comps as well, considering how the 30 damage is a really good combo number with a lot of their weapons, with a lot of Squishy's weapons, and that has allowed the Restarter multiple times throughout the set to just get a lot of value, constantly getting constant doubles, even triples sometimes, throughout the entire set.
Absolutely. Honestly, as a whole, I've been thoroughly impressed with both teams here. Just seeing the inventiveness, I guess. Like, you wouldn't really realistically see Reef Slider in many things nowadays unless it was trying to reef cheese a very specific map on zones. But just being able to see Reef Slider on a bunch of other maps, I think, has been really cool. And I have my gripes with solo queue T Tech, but I think the T Tech pick on the side of Ink Drinkers, as someone who did used to main it, I thoroughly enjoy seeing a good T Tech be brought out, and I'm very glad that to see Ink Drinkers bring it out again. However, we are getting back into the game here with the replay on Ramen Rainmaker.
Yes, indeed. Same comps being selected, which is pretty standard in terms of rule skill, I'm pretty sure. And now we are going to get back into it. We are going to see if either of these guys are going to switch up any strategies that they're going to do at the beginning of the game. Once again, Ink Drinkers is going to get the early pop on the Rainmaker. And right now we are seeing Ink Drinkers playing this opening a little bit more aggressively than they did before. Before they just played more further back. Now they're just playing a lot more aggressively, as the Taopina and the Wiper were just able to rush in and get an early pick on someone from Squissushi. However, this Restarter is able to get 2 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, and now Squissushi is going to get a really nice push on the side of Ink Drinkers, and they get the early wipeout and get the checkpoint earlier in this game than they did the last. A really crazy adaptation on the side of Squissushi to be able to just get this really dominant opening, and they might continue the push from here as the well comes down the side of Cider. And now with the Rainmaker on this snipe, it's going to try to push forward. However, the T-Tech falls down. They don't have the defense on the front to defend the Rainmaker, and that allows the Rainmaker to get all the way down to 10. And now Squissushi with 2 down on the side of Ink Drinkers is going to try to stall up the Rainmaker more on the front side. However, with the pop on the Rainmaker, it doesn't look like that Ink Drinkers is able to secure from the Rainmaker and is able to potentially secure elbow as well. However, Squissushi with a very dominant first push of the game is able to just very dominantly just take a very early convincing lead on Ink Drinkers.
Absolutely. Just that extremely fast push on the side of Squid Sushi was that I blinked, and then instantly the match immediately went to 10.
Yeah.
Just seeing the speed being brought out here is just I really showcases just how fast this game can play. Ink Drinkers is still being able to get set up here and are seemingly looking to just build up their resources for another push. They have a long battle ahead of them to try and take back lead. However,
Yes, 100%. Ink Drinkers has to clear not only the checkpoint, but also has to go through a very tight choke point with a lot of cover that Squishy has in order to try to take back this lead. And with 1 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, 2 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, It doesn't seem like that they're gonna get this right now. However, they are gonna potentially wait for a potential big push as Panda on the flank is able to get 2, gets 3, potentially will get the quad. Yes, they do. And now this is the opening that Ink Drinkers need. They are pushing really aggressively to the checkpoint, and they do have the cooler set up. And now with the Rainmaker grabbed by the Hydra, it does seem like that Ink Drinkers is gonna potentially get the checkpoint as long as the bomb doesn't do anything about it, and it doesn't, as Ink Drinkers doesn't get the early does get the checkpoint. And with the 1-for-1 trade on the side of Ink Drinkers, it doesn't seem like that they're gonna like have a big snowball. However, it does seem like that they're gonna try to maintain control of their elbow. However, with the jet on the side of K9, it doesn't seem like that Ink Drinkers was able to continue the push, and that allows Squid Sushi in conjunction with the Inkjet to just push back further. And now Jade trying to create some space with the reef side, doesn't get a pick, however is able to secure space on their elbow in order to prevent Ink Drinkers from moving it further. Getting the paint on the elbow, and also applying pressure as well over there in order to just move forward, as Jade with another good pick on the T-Tech. Right now, Squid Sushi just trying to break out of their side of the map. However, with 1 down, it does seem like the Ink Drinkers will try to push back in with this Booyah Bomb. And with 2 down on the side of Squid Sushi, it does seem like the Ink Drinkers with the pop on Rainmaker and with the Stempery on the side of Freezy, it does seem like that they can make something happen here. However, the Inkjet does get 1, and with 2 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, it doesn't seem like that Squid Sushi could like maintain their space here. And while they are 2 down, they do have the specials. They are going to get the specials. They are close to a crab tank, and they are really close to a whale as well, so they can use the specials to potentially put a stop to this push.
Absolutely. Ink Drinkers does at the very least still have that checkpoint down, which does allow them to just immediately try and continue the push forward. However, they just seemingly aren't able to find any spot to go into, as Squid Sushi is just, again, they can just absolutely take their time as much as they need to. But 2 go down on the side of Squid Sushi, 3 as right now. Tri-Slasher still does have their Inkjet, is able to find the Rainmaker pick, and this is seemingly just going to end up being the last push that Squid Sushi is going to be able to make here, and Ink Drinkers is able to make and ends the game. Squid Sushi just ends the game.
Ink Drinkers did seem like that they were gonna have a really good push in and potentially take the lead. However, K9 behind them was able to put a stop to that Rainmaker, and the Inkjet was just the finishing touches for Squid Sushi in order to get the game 7 that they desperately needed. They did not want to be down in the situation, and now Squid Sushi only needs 1 more game in order to not only take the set, but to also take the 2nd place spot away from Ink Drinkers in their Div 7 Blue D group.
It is, I guess, at this point we should, whenever this replay ends, just, again, having the Tri-Slasher be behind you, just having any real like aggressive front line get behind you, and in any game really can just be a game ender unless you're really checking every spot where they could be. However, something I would like to note just a little bit, we have seen a little bit of a pattern here, with Ink Drinkers seemingly being able to take the zones and clams games, where Squid Sushi has been seemingly taking every tower and Rainmaker game as of now. It's not necessarily an indication of things to come, but it is going to be interesting to see how Ink Drinkers / Squid Sushi take these games into account, considering that Squid Sushi is currently just 1. The last game is 1 away. So I'm anticipating that Ink Drinkers is going to be bringing out their all for these last 2 games to try and take it back.
Which Sushi needs 1 more game in order to take the set and to take that 2nd place spot away from Ink Drinkers in order to secure a spot for them in playoffs. Ink Drinkers needs to force a game 9 in order to stay alive in the set and potentially bring it back. And it does seem like that the potential last game of the set is going to be on Zone's ship shape. One of my favorite map modes not like a map that I like to play on like a whole lot, but it is a map mode in the game, and I do enjoy it quite a bit. As we are getting into um this next set, we are going to see if we are going to see any weapon changes. I don't assume that we are, considering that we haven't seen any weapon changes in a while. No changes on the side of Ink Drinkers, and no changes on the side of Squid Sushi. We are sticking the same exact comp that we've been sticking for the last couple of games. Potential last game for Squid Sushi. They need to get this last game win in order to take the set. Meanwhile, Ink Drinkers needs to win 2 games in a row in order to just win the set and get the second place spot in their group in order to get the playoffs. Right now, we do see Freezy being really aggressive on this front side. Is able to get an early pick on Fallhole. Is able to get a pick on K9. And with 3 down on the side of Squid Sushi, Ink Drinkers is going to get a very early advantage on this game. And with the staggered wipe on the side of Squid Sushi, and with all the specials in the world that they have right now, they have a Booyah and the Stamp. And this is something that Ink Drinkers is going to try to get a good counter push going on their side of the map, as they have a complete lockdown on mid currently.
Absolutely. Ink Drinkers seemingly just wanting to set up and just lock out Squid Sushi as much as they can. Unfortunately, Squid Sushi was able to get back in and is able to currently take the zone here. With however that wiper is behind them, Freezy is able to at least apply pressures. Was not able to find some picks, but was certainly able to apply a significant amount of pressure towards Squid Sushi, which allowed Ink Drinkers to take the zone back.
Freezy just being a thorn in Squid Sushi's side, just allowing Ink Drinkers to just secure this. However, the T-Tech on the side of Ink Drinkers just rocks right into Fallhole, and that allows Fallhole to get set up with a crab on this bottom left part of the map, and that allows Squid Sushi to take back the zone. And Fallhole, I believe they are aware of this bottom right flank. However, they do jump out, and now it's potentially allows Squid Sushi to get an early push in order to try to get a lockout needed in order to try to secure the game. However, this step on Frenzy is just going crazy on the side of Ink Drinkers right now, as they do take care of this of the Dreadbringer, and they do get 2 before going down to K9. But right now, with 2 down on the side of Squid Sushi, Pre-stacker right now, they do need to find some type of foothold in order to try to secure this. However, Ink Drinkers is not letting go of the gas. They're still going, and with just Fallhole on his right side, he has to try to make a play here. He has to try to secure this right side so that it's not dumb, so that Squid Sushi could just have some type of leeway going into this game. However, this Booyah is going to just not really have to kind of get a lot of value, although it does get a pick. And with 2 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, with this Ink on the side of Kanon, is able to get a pick on the T-Tech, and now Squid Sushi with 3 down on the side of Ink Drinkers is going to try to lock out on the side on Ink Drinkers' side of the map.
Well, it seems like it's Squid Sushi's time to lock out Ink Drinkers here. Ink Drinkers seemingly have only 1 special online right now. With those strikes, are gonna have to try and find their way back in soon, as Squid Sushi is currently about 25 points away now from just taking the game.
Yes, Squid Sushi really close to taking the game. We're able to get the count down to 18 before Ink Drinkers does take back the lead. And now Frenzy with a really good trade on the Rapid Pro Deco. No backline on the side of Squid Sushi. No one to hold on to fort. And while Squid Sushi does take the zone back briefly, it does seem like the Ink Drinkers is going to take the zone right back, so long as they don't choke in this current fight. And now with the Hydra set up on top mid, it does have eyes on the Tri-Slasher. However, they don't take him out. However, they get started with the fall-off damage. And with 3 down on the side of Squid Sushi, the wheel comes out to secure the zone. It's just the Inkjet. The Inkjet goes down. And now with the wipeout on the side of Squid Sushi, Ink Drinkers, with no more penalty points left, has all the space that they need. And with another pick on the Rapid Pro Deco, it does seem like that they could potentially just run it back. 3 go down on the side of Squid Sushi. It's just the Dread. The Dread goes down, and now with everyone down on the side of Squid Sushi, they have to desperately make a run at the zone. 6 seconds left. Squid Sushi is running out of members. They're running out of resources, and they can't do it. Squid Sushi loses the very important game 8 that they need, and Ink Drinkers needs 1 more win in order to win the set, as we are going into a game 9, everyone.
these two teams, I have been really happy watching both of these two teams play. Both of these two teams seem like very strong teams in their division, and considering how much of an important game this is, we are really seeing that going immediately to a game 9. Squid Sushi, like Ink Drinkers will win some, Squid Sushi will win some, then we'll go back to Ink Drinkers, goes back to Squid Sushi. And now that we are in a game 9 situation, both teams are going to be playing as best as they possibly could here. This is the most important game, probably tonight, honestly. And if you're Ink Drinkers, you now have you shifted the momentum back towards you by winning that last game. And if you're Squid Sushi, you know that this is a very important game 9. So both teams are just going to have to bring their all to this last game here on Clam's Mako Mart.
This is going to be the deciding game for both of these teams. Both of these teams have worked their absolute hardest in order to get into this position, and now they're here in this game 9, the deciding game to get the playoffs. If either of these teams win, they get the playoff spot, most likely, and they will advance to playoffs. That's going to happen starting Monday, tomorrow morning, I'm pretty sure. And both of these teams need to just lock in. Ink Drinkers, like you said it earlier, do have the slight momentum advantage, considering that they did have a really dominant game win on that ship-shaped cargo game. However, Squid Sushi, with the comp that do have it, are going to probably use that to their advantage with that double bucket to try to just take advantage of as much of those stacks as possible. And we all know that Miko does favor buckets a lot, so we are going to see if they are going to stick with that same strategy. No changes on the side of Ink Drinkers and no changes on the side of Squid Sushi. Ink Drinkers, Squid Sushi, game 9 on Clam's Miko, the deciding game. Really, and by far the most important game 9 that these guys have had this season. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah. We see almost immediately the opening from Squid Sushi showcasing that speed as they immediately get 3 down, leaving the Hydra alone to just have to set up by their basket. Squid Sushi's just working to collect their clams right now, not really working towards pushing too far ahead. Here pops an Inkjet as we see just continues maintaining mid. Ink Drinkers coming in with the tri-strikes to try and lock them out, is able to find the pick on the clam holder as Ink Drinkers are seemingly able to retake mid again.
Yeah, it seemed like that Squid Sushi did have the clam economy needed, but they didn't really have a really successful push going. As a result, they did end up going down, and the clams were just ended up being wasted. And now it's Ink Drinkers' turn to try to push back in. However, Follow on his bottom right side is just stalling so long, just getting as much attention in this bottom left alley as they possibly can before going down, and that will potentially allow Squid Sushi to take back their stack, and it just allows them to just try to make a push of their own. They do have the ball ready. They do have a reef starter to potentially reef cheese under the basket. They do pass, the reef side does pass the ball away. However, they do get taken down as soon as they do that. And now with 1 down inside Squid Sushi, Freezy on this bottom right is gonna do wonders on this bottom right, but no, Fallhole just take them out in the middle of that stamp. And now with 1 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, Fallhole on this top left is gonna just try to control this left stack, trying to make a push going, and they're gonna get contested by the zap. However, they are able to take care of the zap before getting traded out by Freezy. And right now, with both teams just playing neutral their absolute hardest right now, we are going to see what team is going to make the push needed in order to snowball this out of control. Because keep in mind, Clam's Miko is very snowbally. If anything goes wrong, it could very easily go down to a score of 20 for the enemy's favor. So we are going to see how this goes.
Yeah, Squid Sushi is able to find that first power clam, is starting to get some clams in. However, Ink Drinkers have been able to separate all of them out, and he's able to stop their push as they just split Squid Sushi up, and seemingly able to retaking mid again, popping that Booyah Bomb, seemingly getting ready for their own push now with taking out the Dreadringer. They do have their pity, I believe, still sitting in the back, so if they're able to get that, then they can retake lead here, as Ink Drinkers is able to find their own push.
Yes, Ink Drinkers with all the clams that they need to take the lead. However, they don't have the numbers to do so. They are going to be able to take the lead here, but with 3 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, it does seem like that Squishy could potentially run this back. Keep in mind, this map is very small on this map mode, so it's not hard for Squishy to make a score happen of their own. However, with 1 alive on the side of Ink Drinkers, they were able to stall just long enough for the rest of Ink Drinkers to come back, and now Ink Drinkers is able to get some type of foothold on their end. And I'm pretty sure that, I don't know if that was another squid back or not. I probably am just like seeing things considering how hyped this set is, but it doesn't matter as that crab is able to get an early pick on the Hydra, and with 3 down on the side of Ink Drinkers, it does seem like that Squid Sushi is going to try to get a push of their own. However, with Bahal going down, it could slow things down a little bit, and with 2 down on the side of Squid Sushi, and it does seem like that this push is not really going to go anywhere unless Squid Sushi just try to force something, which is less than ideal, but it does seem like that they are going to wait for the numbers to come back up. And now with the reset already on the side of Squid Sushi and the Ink Jet coming out, it does seem like that Squid Sushi is going to try to make a push going. However, this 3 on the right stack is going to try to deter stuff. However, the resetter does get 2 on the side of Squid Sushi, and Squid Sushi gets the wipe, and they have a power clam ready. This could be the push that they need in order to get the KO and get the game win. They do have the clams needed. They are going to get more extra clams into this basket, as they are going to score 3 more, and as they are now down to 15, and this crab is still doing work on the side of Squid Sushi. However, 2 go down on the side of Squid Sushi, and that allows Ink Drinkers in order to push back in. 3 go down on the side of Squid Sushi. It's just a Dreadringer, and they go down. Ink Drinkers with the cooler in mid is going to try to just get the scores needed in order to take back lead, and with all the claims that they have right now, it shouldn't be that difficult for them to do so. However, Panther goes down mid-jump. They're not able to get the power clam score in. However, they do trade out the power clam to go down on the side of Squid Sushi, and now Ink Drinkers do have the clams needed to try to take back this lead. 10 seconds left. They do get the power clam score in. They can get the score down all the way down to 20. However, it doesn't seem like they have any more clams needed. But the Hydra does have a clam. They have the jump. They're gonna get it. And Ink Drinkers, with the overtime comeback, is able to get the game 9 over Squid Sushi and is able to take not only the set, but the second place spot in the group, which secures them a spot in playoffs.
That set was incredibly back and forth. It was like the game either was just, it was either both teams were just waiting for that opportunity to push, or it was both teams going back and forth between taking back lead and everything. Ink Drinkers seemingly once again using that pity, seemingly from that very first Clams game, which is what allowed them to take back lead and I believe get the knockout on the first game at Clams Gorge. That pity comes in once again to secure them the win here on Clams Mako Mart.
The Hydra wins the first Clams game for Ink Drinkers, and the Hydra wins in the next game with the last second scores that they need. And Ink Drinkers, in a very tense game 9, was able to take that set, and they are your winners for this week 3 reschedule. And well, both of these teams just played out of their minds. We saw really good plays coming out from both teams on each of their respective maps that each team have won. However, Ink Drinkers is going to be able to come out on top as they do win the set in a very tense 5-4 fashion.
Absolutely. All of these games just had a bit of a, honestly, just felt very like both teams had a shot here. Sometimes whenever like a set happens, sometimes it'll just be not necessarily one-sided, but there'll be one team that does seemingly play a little bit faster, or just is able to stall another team out for longer. But I feel like both of these teams, even though they're bringing both different strategies, it felt like each team was able to play against each other really well, and it just led to these games feeling as tense as they did.
Yes, 100%. However, that's gonna be it for us on SplatoonTourney1. We are gonna be raiding the main channel pretty soon, as we do have, I'm pretty sure, Hibiscus going up against Black Squid Inkburger currently. Currently, I'm pretty sure it's Black Squid Inkburger up 1-0 in that particular set. So we're gonna go ahead and raid them really soon. However, Jakiro, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me at Supera Jokera. I should be just the same X as the name that I have listed here for the tournament. You can find me on Twitter, find me on YouTube occasionally. What about you, Virus?
You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at the name is Virus. That's VIRXZ, as it's spelled, as it's usually spelled. So yeah, I cannot wait to see you tune in for that. I am gonna be I am streaming occasionally a Splatoon Nuzlocke, where I try to rank up the S Plus. So if you want, go in and tune in for that whenever I stream it. I'm probably gonna stream it sometime tomorrow. So if you want to tune in for that, go ahead and tune in for that. However, that's gonna be it for us on SplatoonTourney1. We are gonna send you guys over to the main channel, where we are going to see Hibiscus versus Black Squid Inkburger. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you guys next time.